In the small room, a platinum-haired young man wearing a tight black outfit that revealed every toned muscle was intently counting each push-up. 94, he growled, sweat beading on his forehead. With determination, he pushed for the 9,995. His movement was decisive, as if breaking through the limit to 9,996. Totram finally sprang up, breathing heavily, as if he had just survived a storm. He gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, "Damn system! It's not easy for you to bring me here through time, and right from the start, you tell me to do 10,000 push-ups. I'm exhausted, damn it." Suddenly, the door burst open. A figure rushed in urgently. "Totram, the awakening ceremony has started." The person who just arrived was Trio Too Long, his close friend. "Our turn is coming up. Let's go quickly." Totram was still annoyed, mumbling, "Wait, let me finish a few more push-ups." But Trio Too Long wouldn't let him hesitate, pulling his arm firmly and saying, "Come on, the awakening ceremony is the most important event in our lives. We can't be late." "You still have the mood to do push-ups," complaining Trio Too Long dragged Totram outside. He had no choice but to follow, helplessly blending into the bustling crowd at the square. Here, the crowd was buzzing with chatter. The atmosphere was lively but tense. Until now, no one had awakened a super-powerful combat profession. Whether it was a mage dragon technician or other top-tier professions, they were hard to achieve with only a 1 in 1,000 chance. However, some rare professions like novice tamer or assassin had been awakened, making the crowd even more excited. As long as it's not a life profession, even a support one, "I'll accept another person," said hopefully. Among them, a brown-haired girl seemed unconcerned, excitedly exclaiming, "I came to see Sister Mo Dung." The Mo Dung she mentioned was Mo Dung Lu Diem, the unparalleled prodigy of the renowned Second Intermediate Martial Arts Academy. Some even dreamed of just getting her autograph. Before Trio Too Long and Totram pushed through the crowd, sighing in relief. Luckily, we're not too late. Totram quietly recalled 7 days ago when a massive earthquake on Earth transported him to this strange world. Here, everyone participates in the awakening ceremony at age 18. Each person receives a profession from thousands of types, combat, support, life, and countless variations. On the high platform, a girl named Trio Lo had just awakened the profession of mage. She tightly grasped the radiant power in her hand, her face filled with pride. Amidst the roaring applause from the stands, people whispered about her. Trio Lo was a third-year student in Class 2. Usually just a Cinderella girl, no one expected her to become a goddess now. Trio Too Long lightly nudged Totram, teasing, "If I remember right. Trio Lo is the girl you just managed to win over, right?" Totram frowned vaguely, replying, "Probably." He searched the original owner's memories, recalling that he had been pursuing Trio Lo for 1 or 2 years, and even bought an outfit to get her to agree to be his girlfriend. Behind Trio Lo, a line of male students surrounded her, eagerly chatting with the goddess. "Trio Lo, let me borrow your luck for a person," they shouted. "Do you have time to eat out tonight? I already booked a celebration party at Thainyak a while ago," another chimed in. Some even asked for contact info. "Let's form a team together later." Trio Lo just flicked her hair slightly, acting haughty, then walked away, leaving the excited crowd behind. Behind her, the young man quietly thought, "From this moment on, my life will take a new path." Carrying memories from the original owner's past, Totram stepped closer to Trio Lo and quietly congratulated her. Trio Lo didn't bother to turn around, just gave a cold glance. At that moment, Trung Loi appeared, his tone sulky. "You showed up just in time. Let's break up." Totram was stunned and hurriedly corrected, "I'm Totram." Trio Lo casually pulled out a brown notebook from her pocket, flipped through a few pages, then coldly concluded, "Totram, right. Wait a moment. Let me check the list." After examining it, she bluntly said, "Same thing, you're also breaking up." With that, she snapped the notebook shut. Totram felt a flicker of injustice for the original owner, mumbling irritably, "I'm breaking up too. Is the company downsizing?" Trio Lo laughed scornfully. "Downsizing is one thing. Adding useless dogs like you in the end changes nothing." At that moment, a blond guy with shaggy hair approached, flattering and calling Lo. "He is Li Long Tiu." In front of Zhao Lu, he acted modest. "I just awakened, about to become a combat master." Pausing briefly, he boasted, "Although I can't compare to your powerful super mage combat profession, it's still one of the strong combat professions." He turned to Zhao Lu, flattering, "Let's celebrate together tonight." Sutran, hearing that unpleasant tone, glanced at the blond guy to see who he was. Zhao Lu was radiant, pulling Li Lang Tu's hand and said, "Li Lang Tu wants to have a seafood feast." He immediately grabbed her hand excitedly, replied, No matter how high you want to reach today, I'll pick it for you no matter what. Then he turned to Sutran, sneering disdainfully. Kid, I need someone to serve tea, pour water, run errands. Do you want to come? Zhao Zilong stood beside, indignantly defending his friend. Sutran hasn't even taken the test yet. Insulting him like this means you will regret it later. Li Langtiu smirked, his tone full of contempt. Don't dream. The entire Second Intermediate Martial Arts Academy knows that less than 20% awaken combat professions. Most are noble descendants born having undergone various spiritual enhancements like Li Langtiu. He's a commoner. Aside from Zhao Lu, who is a peerless genius, the rest who awaken are just trash professions. Finally, it was Sutran's turn to step onto the stage. He raised his head confidently to face Li Langtiu, loudly declaring, Wait and kneel down calling me Dad. Li Langtiu gritted his teeth and growled, Talking nonsense like that, looking for deaths. Sutran stepped forward leisurely, his heart full of spirit. As a time traveler, he was confident he would awaken a top-tier profession that would astonish everyone. On the big screen, a signal rang out announcing the test had begun. The progress scroll gradually appeared. Sutran tilted his head back and shouted loudly, Bring it on! I've done well, get ready to worship me. A cold wind slid down his back. The large screen displayed the words, Sutran has no profession. The crowd below buzzed, everyone confused and wondering what was happening. Li Langtiu couldn't hold back a burst of laughter, arrogantly laughing. I'm dead, no way, trash like that, not even awakening a profession. People around also began to gossip. I've never heard of anyone not awakening a profession. At worst, you'd awaken some useless profession. Is it possible to not awaken a profession? Could this guy be the first cripple on the planet? Sutran looked up. Longday muttered in dissatisfaction. No way, at least give him a combat profession. Show some respect to time travelers. Li Langtiu stood below. A shrill voice echoed, Kid, hurry up and get off the stage. Don't embarrass yourself in front of others anymore. Suddenly, an anomaly appeared in the sky. Thick darkness rolled in, accompanied by dazzling lightning. The students looked up, eyes wide in surprise, silently wondering what was happening. The sky suddenly darkened, thick black clouds covering it. Could this anomaly be caused by awakening a profession? Only Sutran was radiant, pointing at the brilliant lightning in the sky with a proud thought. I knew it wouldn't end like that. With an anomaly like this, I'm definitely going to awaken an overwhelmingly powerful profession. Li Langtiu stood below with a darkened expression full of suspicion. How could even a commoner awaken a super-strong combat profession causing an anomaly? Zhao Lu pushed up her glasses, muttering awkwardly, We just expelled him, now we have to invite him back. Sutran stood triumphantly on the stage, pointing directly at Li Langtiu, and loudly said, You can call me Dad now. The sky grew darker and shifted to a strange purple-blue hue. Thick lightning bolts tore through, making the crowd below extremely panicked. Suddenly, a giant foot with sharp claws appeared from the clouds descending, causing everyone in the schoolyard to scatter, screaming for help. It turned out to be the aura of a demon beast. It slammed close to the ground, knocking down a group of students. Only then did everyone realize this was not an awakening anomaly, but a demon beast intrusion. But it was too late. The monster had charged straight into the academy. Sutran, who was just standing proudly on the stage, was almost crushed by the giant claw. The demon beast destroyed everything in its path. The alarm bell rang continuously, warning of a level 1 demon dragon intrusion. All teachers and students evacuated immediately. But when Tram gathered his mind, the giant demon dragon was already towering before him, roaring fiercely. He could only exclaim, What is this, some kind of reward for time travelers? From the crowd, a few brave students charged forward with weapons ready to take down the beast. But the demon dragon only needed to angrily flap its wings, and they were thrown several feet away. The rest could only watch, filled with worry. This demon dragon is at least grade B, not something a grade D powerhouse can handle. Suddenly, a student shouted, Where's Sister Mo Dung? Why hasn't she arrived yet? Only Sister Mo Dung can hold back this demon dragon now? Xiu Tu-Long, who had run far away, suddenly remembered his friend and stopped shouting loudly, To Tram, run! Li Langtiu nearby jumped excitedly. Serves him right if he dies. Tram stood far from Xiu Tu-Long, but right under the demon dragon's foot, thinking, Can I even run now? The monster suddenly opened its mouth and let out a terrifying roar. Tram, terrified, looked at its huge, sharp teeth and shouted, You bastard! Suddenly, the demon dragon froze, its eyes glowing like two lanterns glaring down at tiny Tram beneath its foot, with a look full of confusion. Tram truly is the male lead. To everyone's surprise, he immediately lay face down and began doing push-ups, 9, 9I7, 9, 9I8. But in his mind, there was only one thought. Completing the system mission is the only chance to survive. The trainees around looked confused, whispering, What time is it for him to still be doing push-ups? Could he be performing for the Dragon Ghost? Li Lingsha was stunned, his eyes panicked, as if scared, speechless. On the other side, Tram had just completed his 999th push-up. As he reached 10,000, the system rang out jubilantly. Congratulations to the host for achieving 10,000 push-ups. Congratulations, host, you have gained additional physical points. Congratulations, host, you have acquired the skill Power Fist. Tram raised an eyebrow and curiously asked, "What's Power Fist? Is it powerful?" The system immediately replied in a steady voice, "The power of Power Fist depends on the host's charge time and the force value, so the host can clearly feel it. Right now, the host can try Power Fist free for 15 seconds. As soon as the system finished speaking, a demon dragon roared from above and rushed down with explosive momentum. At the same time, a red-haired girl riding a sword flew over her worried face, hurriedly exclaimed, "This is bad!" Tram looked up at the furious demon dragon and shouted, "Beast, stop! I don't want to hurt others!" Without hesitation, he gritted his teeth and put all his strength into performing Power Fist. At the same time, the red-haired girl swung her sword in a gleaming arc straight at the demon dragon. The two forces struck the beast simultaneously. Especially Tram's punch, carrying Power Fist power, crashed straight into the demon dragon's wide-open jaw. A thunderous explosion resounded. The demon dragon collapsed, its gigantic body vanished into smoke and dust. The crowd rushed out from hiding, cheering excitedly, "Look, it's Mo Dung Lu Diem!" They ran while praising Goddess. No wonder it's Sister Mo Dung. The girl looked like a fairy defeating the demon dragon with just one strike. It turned out the red-haired girl was Mo Dung Lu Diem. She didn't care about the praise, only slightly frowned, a doubt lingering. Something about that strike wasn't right. Standing on her flying sword, Mo Dung pondered deeply. Meanwhile, Tram on the ground beamed happily and turned to the system. "So strong, this Power Fist is amazing. I love you. Keep assigning tasks to push me forward." Mo Dung Lu Diem sheathed her sword lightly and landed on the ground. Among admiring gazes, especially, Lai Lang Tiu kept sighing. "No wonder it's Mo Dung Lu Diem, the legendary graduate of Martial Arts Academy No. 2, defeating a Grade B demon beast with one blow. Truly amazing." Even Xiao Lo quietly activated his competitive mode, determined to surpass Mo Dung in the future. But Mo Dung knew well that one strike of hers wasn't enough to destroy a Grade B demon dragon. She glanced at Tram, suspicion flashing in her eyes. Could it be him? Suddenly, a chubby man ran over from afar, panting, and beside Mo Dung said, "Miss Mo Dung." He smiled and introduced himself. "I am Manhwa, the newly appointed principal of Martial Arts Academy No. 2. Thank you for stepping in to help the academy get through this danger this time." He stopped, speaking solemnly. "Everyone has been waiting for Miss Mo Dung. You rarely come back to the school. Please say a few words to everyone." And Huai forcefully pushed Tram off the stage, fearing he would lose Mo Dung Lu Diem's attention. Suddenly, she stopped speaking, and at the same moment the system in Tram's head suddenly rang out coldly, announcing a mission. "Please shout 'I love you, sister' 100 times to Mo Dung Lu Diem." Tram was stunned, eyes wide with shock. Mo Dung Lu Diem stepped closer, her voice gentle but full of curiosity. "What's your classmate's name?" Tram hesitated and stammered, "I." But only seconds later, he gritted his teeth and shouted determinedly, "I love you, sister!" His loud shout startled Mo Dung Lu Diem briefly, her eyes flashing with surprise. And Huai rushed forward and growled, "What are you saying?" But Mo Dung still patiently intended to ask, "Was it you who dealt the final blow to the demon dragon?" Done. Tram ignored the question and remained loyal to his mission, continuously shouting, "I love you, sister! I love you, sister!" And Huai angrily shouted, "No!" He lunged forward, grabbing Tram by the shoulders and pulling him down, muttering, "Crazy, crazy, someone quickly drag him down." Even though he was being dragged with a squishing sound, Tram kept shouting, determined to complete the mission. The system and Huai and Mo Dung Lu Diem looked at him with puzzled expressions. Li Lang Tio nearby sneered disdainfully, "That Tram a nobody dares to dream of eating the swan ridiculous. Later, Mo Dung Lu Diem will become a legend. How could a shrimp like him ever climb up?" Suddenly, Triolo gently stepped next to Li Lang Tiu and softly asked, "He's still missing some skill books needed for a mage's training. Can you lend him a few?" Li Lang Tiu raised an eyebrow teasingly. Lo, you're so direct. Seems like we still haven't defined our relationship." Triolo didn't mind and replied briefly, "Just tell me which books." Li Lang Tiu smirked and answered, "From what I know, the Lai family has 5 books, but lending them requires Bo Li's approval." Triolo smiled and pulled a notebook from her bag, declaring, "From today, Li Lang Tiu is my boyfriend." She tore a small piece of paper from the notebook, called it a professional certificate, and shoved it into his hand. Li Lung-tiu hesitated as he took it, his eyes showing a flicker of doubt. At the same time, To Tram was disdainfully thrown to the ground by the security guards, still mumbling his mission. One guard sneered, "To Tram, you don't even know how to wear glasses properly, a waste who can't even awaken a profession, yet you want to match Miss Mo Dung." He waved his hand and coldly said, "Forget him, the first to die in the awakening trial will probably be him." To Tram sat on the ground, eyes still determined, ignoring the mockery. I, To Tram. Although sore from being thrown down, my heart still burned with the will to complete the mission of shouting, "I love you, sister," 100 times. Compared to 10,000 push-ups, this mission only requires using my mouth much simpler. I silently vowed I must succeed. Suddenly, 3 fierce thugs appeared before me. The leader was a muscular, white-haired guy, with 2 sly-looking henchmen standing behind him, arms crossed aggressively blocking the way. I To Tram dusted off of my clothes, stood up, and calmly said, "Uncle, what's the matter?" The big guy growled, grabbing my shirt. "You're only 18, who the hell do you call uncle?" The 2 henchmen laughed mockingly, adding fuel to the fire. "Big bro is doing it on purpose. If he doesn't make 1,000 protection fees today, just scrap him." I To Tram frowned, recalling that the white-haired guy was Li Loi Akba, number 1 at the 2nd Intermediate Martial Arts Academy, known for bullying the original owner to collect protection fees. The original owner was pitiful orphaned from a young age and living with uncle and aunt. Except for the uncle who secretly cared, no one valued him. He just gritted his teeth and endured the bullying. Li Loi shouted directly in my face, "Hand over the money or today I'll shove your ass into your head." To Tram thought silently. Now that I'm a great time traveler, how could I let others trample on what the original endured? I will repay it 100-fold. Without hesitation, I gathered strength and threw a punch at Li Loi's face. His face twisted to one side, eyes wide, unable to comprehend what happened. His henchmen were also stunned, unable to believe their eyes. But I To Tram, who threw the punch, staggered and said in confusion, "Was the power in that punch weak because the charging time was too short?" I sweat in disappointment at the weak punch. Li Loi had regained composure, cracking his knuckles with a snap, growling, "You surprise me, weakling, like you dares to lay hands on me." Seeing the situation was critical, To Tram hurriedly used a delaying tactic. "Give me some time. I'll go get the money." Li Loi snorted coldly and let go. To Tram collapsed to the ground. He coldly declared, "I'm giving you half a day before dinner. I'll come to the dorm, wait for me." Li Loi's gang left. To Tram jumped up and sprinted like the wind. Half a day is enough. He had to rush to complete the mission with Mo Dung Lu Diem immediately because she wouldn't stay at the academy for long. Meanwhile, Mo Dung Lu Diem was being nagged by Principal Manhwa Tree. "Miss Mo Dung, since you passed the entrance exam for Thien Phu College, the top school in Ha Country, you have become the glory and legend of our 2nd Intermediate Martial Arts Academy." To Tram just spotted the target and hurried to Mo Dung Lu Diem, shouting loudly, "I love you." The Principal Anhui Tri and everyone else, though, having witnessed this once before, were still shocked and wide-eyed. Principal Ann pointed at him and yelled, "Why is this brat here?" He immediately called 2 others to drag To Tram away roughly as before, but To Tram's mouth kept shouting, "I love you." The group continued into the conference room where Mo Dung Lu Diem sat at the head, and Hui Tri cautiously spoke after awakening his profession just a month ago. A martial arts exam had taken place, hoping Miss Mo Dung would share some experience with everyone. Mo Dung Lu Diem calmly replied with confidence, "If there is any experience, it's entirely based on my absolute talent and super strong profession." Her candid answer left the room in silence. Everyone froze, no one dared to speak. Suddenly, from outside the window came the shout, "I love you," from the stubborn young man again. To Tram sat perched in a tree, staring intently at Mo Dung Lu Diem, continuing to shout loudly. And Hui Tri rushed out angrily, opening the door and yelling at To Tram. "You're still not done, are you?" To Tram really wasn't done. Not even close to 100 times shouting, "I love you." He persisted in his mission mouth, never stopping. And Hui Tri sighed and explained to Mo Dung, "Don't mind that brat To Tram. He can't awaken his profession, probably just excited." Mo Dung murmured in surprise, "Not awakened any profession? Could it be that defeating Ma Long has nothing to do with him?" And Hui Tri panicked and ordered someone to seal To Tram's mouth. But Mo Dung Lu Diem raised her hand to stop them, coldly saying, "No need. I'll go myself." She rode her sword like a gust of wind toward To Tram. He was briefly panicked. What do you want to do? Without a word, she grabbed him like a chicken and controlled the sword flying straight up into the sky. The crowd below held their breath, anxiously watching. Someone whispered, "Miss Mo Dung won't throw to Tram down from that height, will she?" And Huai Tree paled and muttered, "Looks like we forgot something." Miss Mo Dung is known as the big boss of Thien Phu Academy, the terror of countless talented disciples. I'm doomed. To Tram soared high into the sky and began to feel the icy chill of fear. Mo Dung Ludium glanced at him coldly. "Don't you love me?" Despite his pounding heart, To Tram stubbornly shouted, "I love you." She lifted him with a sharp gaze. "If you say I love you 50 times before hitting the ground, I'll believe you." I silently cursed this cruel game, but had no other choice. He tried a softer tone, "We should land now." But Mo Dung cut him off sharply. "I'm not joking. Say it 50 times. She let go of Tram, and Earth's gravity pulled him down rapidly. He angrily shouted, "Crazy, you're really crazy!" But for the mission and his life, he gritted his teeth and yelled, "I love you." The crowd below buzzed, eyes glued to the sky. "He's falling. Miss Mo Dung is so heartless. No immortal could survive that height." Even though he was about to kiss the ground, Tram still yelled, "I love you." Feeling death near, he desperately screamed, "Help me!" At that moment, Mo Dung Lu Diem descended like lightning and caught him. She smirked as if thinking, "Your life is big." "I believe you." Tram, still gasping, was held like a chicken. "Are you a demon or what?" Mo Dung laughed, with eyes crinkled playfully. "Many people do call me that." She dropped Tram into the conference room, then turned to the principal and everyone. "It's time to say goodbye. This time, the Level B Ma Long infiltration is a serious matter. I have to report to the teacher." And Huai Tree hurriedly interrupted with a sad tone. "I also know the most glorious moment of Academy number 2 was when I achieved the top scholar in the entire province. Since then, the genius has faded and the Academy has declined. Even Academy number 3 is about to surpass us." He hesitated, hoping for a favor. Mo Dung Lujiam threw out a card. An Huai Tree recognized it as the admission card to Thien Phu Academy. She flew away on her sword, her voice echoing, "The person who ranks first in the new student survey. I will help that person obtain a skill that does not require a profession level 4. The crowd below cheered excitedly. Non-profession skills anyone can learn are the privilege of Thien Q. Ordinary professions only awaken talents and profession skills. And this skill is only taught by senior academies through a special path. Everyone admired Miss Mo Dung's generosity, and Huai Tree breathed a sigh of relief and thought, if so, Academy number 2's university entrance exam will achieve better honors. Outside the hallway, To Tram was still exclaiming, sweat pouring down, "Mo Dung Lu Diem is really fierce. At an altitude of over 1,000 meters, if she says throw, she throws. Luckily, I said I love you 50 times. But he also muttered regretfully, still 3 times short of 100. Mo Dung didn't give me a chance and left already. Just as To Tram reached the dormitory door, he saw Li Loi's group standing with crossed arms, blocking the way arrogantly. Seeing him appear, Li Loi flicked his chin, ordering his men to charge. He boldly pushed the door and rushed at To Tram, growling, "Have you collected the full 10,000 yet?" But in the blink of an eye, a strong palm came down from To Tram, knocking Li Loi out the door. His hand was still smoking fiercely. The henchmen were stunned, eyes wide, and stammering. How is this possible? How could this energy belong to someone without a profession? After completing this survey, To Tram realized the power of a single strike, although it did not resist the value of effort. Just 5 seconds of charging is enough to take down a newly awakened fighter. Li Loi crawled on the ground, whining and begging the big brother I was wrong. To Tram bent down and lightly patted his cheek coldly. "You're Li Loi, right?" He sneered and asked further. "Do you know Han Mai Mai well?" Li Loi looked confused, full of question marks. "No, I don't." To Tram slapped him again, making his cheek burn red. "If you don't know her, why give that name?" Li Loi held his face in injustice and cried out, "That name was given to me by my mother." To Tram snorted coldly and shouted, "Go find her. When you find Han Mai Mai, I'll spare you." Li Loi nodded quickly like a pecking chicken. "Big brother, rest assured I will definitely find Han Mai Mai." On the stage, Principal and Huai Tree beamed and announced, "Students, yesterday we awakened our professions today. The first survey of your student life will begin." He emphasized loudly, "The results of this survey will directly affect the martial science exam performance 1 month later. I hope you all try your best to achieve at least 1 star at the profession level." He paused, then continued. Furthermore, this survey is held together with Academy Number 1 and Number 3. Be careful not to cause conflicts with students from other academies that would affect the final survey. And why Tree was decisive, the teacher had no more to say. Form teams of 3 to 5 and start immediately. The students below were lively, full of determination. Someone shouted, "This time I will definitely achieve 1-star knight reaching Academy Number 1 of the military college." Another whispered, "I heard the top scorer in this survey will receive a non-profession skill from Mo Dung Lu Jim. That's the real opportunity." Another guy loudly said, "My goal is a 2-star soldier to get first place." The person next to him immediately objected, "It's impossible to get 2 stars on the first survey." Only To Tram stood alone in the crowd, grinding his teeth and cursing the bastards. "No one wants to team up with me, right?" Suddenly, Trio Too Long waved from afar, calling Brother To Tram, frowning. He asked, "What, no one wants to team up with you either?" Trio Too Long scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. "It's not me. I just don't want to team up with anyone else." From the podium, Principal Ann looked down and saw To Tram still chatting leisurely, then shouted, "To Tram, what are you saying? Hurry up and form a team." Li Lung-Tu smirked, adding fuel to the fire. "Principal Ann, it's not that To Tram doesn't want to form a team, it's that no one wants to team up with him. Who would team up with someone without a profession? Not only useless, but also drags the team down." The students around nodded in agreement. Someone cut in. "That's right, To. Tram don't think you can join my team by pushing in. I don't need any extra burden." Another joined in, taking him along. "Don't even talk about a 1-star, just staying alive would be lucky." An annoyed girl said, "No profession but wants to join the survey, just withdraw." Suddenly a loud noise came from above. A private jet swooped close to the academy grounds, preparing to land. A young man with purple hair jumped down from the plane with a radiant aura, confidently brushing his hair. He looked at Principal Ann and said, "You're not late, are you?" And Why Tree sighed in relief and quickly pulled him onto the stage holding the microphone. "Everyone quiet down. This is a talent transferred from Academy Number 1. From now on, he will join Academy Number 2 and participate in the survey with you all." The purple-haired youth stepped forward, replacing the principal, his tone casual. "I come from Academy Number 1. I'm not exactly the most talented, not the most handsome, not the best, and definitely not the funniest." He paused, looking down at the crowd. "And with all of you at Academy Number 2, I'm not necessarily stronger than you, not guaranteed to take first place, and not certain to master Mo Dung's skill that requires no profession." The girls in the stands swooned, eyes sparkling. "No wonder he's a talent from Academy Number 1. Handsome and humble really moves people. I'm no longer afraid of the perverts at Academy Number 1. The boys joined in clapping. "Hey, buddy, you're too modest. Be confident. We're embarrassed hearing that. Thanks for putting yourself down so we can feel confident." The purple-haired guy smiled and continued greeting everyone. "I'm Nui Tat Hoi. I'm here because of Mo Dung, and I will definitely take first place." The whole group fell back feeling like they'd just been slapped awake. Turns out this guy was just putting on a show, hyping them up for half a day. And Why Tree cleared his throat a few times and whispered to Nui Tat Hoi, "You and To Tram should team up. To Tram doesn't have a profession with you by his side. He'll be safer, at least won't lose his life." The teams took turns entering the trial space, buzzing with talk. "Heard this survey has a new spatial gate. The 1-star zone is suitable for snipers." Someone hurriedly urged, "Get in quickly, all 3 schools are surveying. I'm afraid there won't be enough monsters inside to go around." Another replied, "You're overthinking. Even a 1-star dungeon's monsters aren't something we can handle casually." Half an hour later, To Tram and Trio Too Long still sat dejectedly under a tree. Trio Too Long fidgeted, muttering, "Has everyone left? I don't see Nui Tat Hoi anywhere. Didn't he say he'd team up with us?" To Tram frowned, curious. "Hey, what profession did you awaken? Why don't you want to team up with others?" Trio Too Long scratched his head shyly and answered, "Warrior." To Tram's eyes lit up enthusiastically. "Warrior's good, the main combat profession. But it's a pretty girl warrior, right?" Trio Too Long blushed bashfully and nodded. To Tram grinned, urged him to transform, and gave it a try. "Show me." Trio Too Long hesitated, then transformed into a beautiful young lady, flowing purple hair, a seductive purple dress, stunning like a painting. To Tram clapped excitedly, genuine article. He was about to say more, but before he could open his mouth, the beauty threw a punch that sent him flying 10 meters away. Trio Too Long was startled, quickly reverted to his original form, and ran over to catch him awkwardly, explaining, "After transforming, I often get hot-tempered, can't help but hit people." To Tram rubbed his sore shoulder but laughed loudly, grabbing Trio Tu Long's hand. I've made up my mind. You're my friend. Just then, Nui Tat Hoi passed by and To Tram called out loudly, Hey, didn't you see us? We've been waiting for you all afternoon, Trio Tu Long cut in. Principal An told us to team up with you. Nui Tat Hoi glared without looking at them coldly, turning his back. I don't team up with chickens, I know. I prefer to fight alone. To Tram gritted his teeth in frustration. This guy's words weren't just showboating, they were infuriating. Hearing that, Ngui Tat Hoi turned and growled, I know you're To Tram. He pointed at him. You're shameless, daring to confess to Mo Dung in front of everyone. How dare you insult her? He yelled with anger. Do you know what Mo Dung Lujiam means to me? She's my struggle goal, my pursuit direction, the goddess in my heart. I know exactly how to contact her, but haven't dared to say a word until now. I'm To Tram, and you think you deserve to say you love her? Get lost. Seeing you makes me want to hit someone. To Tram pondered for a moment after Nui Tat Hoi's words. The purple-haired guy coldly turned his back and declared firmly, I will definitely take first place in this survey. No one can stop me from following in Miss Mo Dung's footsteps. After finishing, Nui Tat Hoi walked away, his proud back gradually disappearing. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind Brother Tu. Liloi led his teammates forward, respectfully calling To Tram Big Brother. He curiously asked, Why are there only 2 people on your team, Brother Tu? To Tram sighed, his voice full of bitterness. Don't ask anymore. It's heartbreaking. No one wants to team up with us. Liloi immediately patted his chest confidently. Then they must all be blind. Brother Tu, let's team up. Liloi's girlfriend next to him glared sharply and reminded, To Tram has no profession. But Liloi remained firm, so what brother to has strength? The girl angrily shouted, Didn't you hear me? No way, To Tram will bring us trouble. Liloi calmly replied, No. I guarantee that if To Tram joins, it won't be a loss or a scam. The girl lost patience and issued an ultimatum, choose one. If he's in, I'm out. If I'm in, he's out. Liloi didn't hesitate and said firmly, Then you get out. The girl was stunned, not expecting him to choose that way, and shouted bitterly, I'm your girlfriend. You're ditching me for a loser. Liloi coldly, Get lost. Girls only slow down my power release speed. She pointed at Liloi's face, gritting her teeth, bastard. I'll find teammates stronger than you. Don't regret it. After saying that, she turned and walked away. To Tram watched and gave a big thumbs up with a loud laugh. Very manly, I commend you. Liloi nodded in response, brother. To still has to rely on To Tram after going inside. Calmly, no big deal. Let's enter the group together. The 3 officially formed a team and entered the training space together. As soon as they stepped in, Trio Tu Long marveled. Is this the training ground? The feeling is completely different from outside. It's like an energy wave flickering in and out. To Tram observed around and concluded strange. This place has been cleared out by someone else. Let's go deeper. The 3 continued exploring the dense forest. Suddenly, To Tram noticed something pointing far away. There's a demon beast. Looks like a red-horned demon just like in the textbooks. Liloi quickly squatted behind a bush, nodding. That's right. On the grassland are 2 demon beasts, both red-horned demons. 2! Tram frowned, annoyed at his teammate's obvious conclusion, looking at the pigs snuffling the grass, and said, Liloi, what are you talking about? Hey, go up. Liloi shook his head and pushed Trio Tu Long, you go. Trio Tu Long firmly said, I'm not going. Liloi turned to To Tram. Hey, big brother, you go up. To Tram sneered with disdain. Do we really need me to personally kill a low-level red-horned demon? He decisively ordered the 2 to go up. But both Liloi and Trio Tu Long stood still without moving. Tram, annoyed, slapped Liloi's shoulder hard. You're a warrior. If you don't go, who will hurry up? Liloi stammered, trying to explain, If I go up, it might cause trouble. Before he finished, To Tram pushed him out from behind the bush. Stop talking nonsense. Liloi had to accept his fate and sighed. Fine, I'll go. From inside the grass, To Tram waved his hand, urging him forward. Meanwhile, Trio Tu Long gave a thumbs up in support. The 2 red-horned demons peacefully snuffling on the grass suddenly heard a noise, immediately alert, and spotted Liloi and others rushing toward them. Liloi roared and prepared to throw 2 powerful punches at both beasts. They couldn't take it and were knocked far away, falling heavily to the ground. To Tram stood aside, excitedly cheering Liloi. Truly is the tyrant of the school. Strong indeed. Liloi glanced at the 2 motionless demon beasts, lifted them up, and calmly continued walking. Suddenly, a strange noise sounded. To Tram and Trio Tu Long turned in horror to see a whole pack of chubby red-horned demons with glowing red eyes chasing after them. Tram panicked and shouted, "What's going on?" True Too Long quickly pulled him behind a bush and muttered, "I don't understand why there's a whole pack of red horn demons." Only then did Lai Loi turn back to finish his unfinished sentence. Brother too, although I'm a tank warrior, I have a hidden attribute of demon-sucking physique. Tram and True Too Long were stunned. The physical aura that attracts demons whenever it strikes any type of demon beast. The entire pack of the same demon beasts will be attracted, rushing in to attack en masse. Li Loi calmly crossed his arms and explained before the Red Claw demons were rushing in. The three of them seemed to have motors on their legs, sprinting desperately. Tram led the way, shouting, "Big brother, why didn't you say so earlier?" In another corner of the trial space, Lai Lang Tu's and Triu Lo's teams were facing 3 Red Claw demons. Triu Lo unleashed the Red Sun Fireball technique. 3 blazing fireballs flew toward the demon beasts, but strangely before they could hit the beasts, turned and fled. Li Lang Tu was baffled. What's going on? Why are the Red Claw demons running a team pointed toward the distance? Look there! The entire pack of Red Claw demons was running in that direction. Triu Lo frowned. Red Claw demons are the most numerous and easiest to kill here. If we don't keep eliminating them, our upgrade speed will be affected. Meanwhile, Tram's team was still running headlong. The chubby Red Claw demons were hot on their heels. I True Too Long couldn't hold back my panic and shouted, "The Red Claw demons are getting more and more numerous. Running away like this isn't the solution." Tram scanned around, spotted a clearing, and decisively ordered, "Go there. You run ahead. You guys stay here so I can deal with the demon beasts." Trio Too Long fearfully urged, "Tram, don't be reckless. There are too many demon beasts." But Tram didn't listen, waving his hand and stepping back. He lured the entire pack of Red Claw demons into a mountain pass. Clenching his fist tightly, he gathered his power, then threw a punch that transformed into a giant fireball rushing toward the demon beasts. A cataclysmic explosion rang out. The demon pack scattered debris flying everywhere. Elsewhere, the headmasters were tensely watching the leaderboard. Headmaster Lai Thian Deep of Academy No. 1 laughed proudly. "On the points board, Academy No. 1 dominates all challengers. Most of the demon beasts killed were by our students." Headmaster Hun Lam of Academy No. 3 also gleefully said, "The genius Tu Hua Hua of Academy No. 3 ranks second, bringing honor to our school." He turned to An Huai Tri sarcastically. "Headmaster, why so silent?" An Huai Tri forced a smile and replied, "Academy No. 2 isn't bad either. Our student ranks 4th. Hun Lam scoffed. "Aren't you embarrassed saying that? Everyone knows Ngui Tat Hoi, who's 4th, transferred from Academy No. 1. Lai Thian Deep curled his lips in disdain. "Academy No. 2 really has no talent and has to poach from us. Headmaster, and that's not a good move." And Huai Tri awkwardly turned left and right to explain, "You guys poach too. I never forbid you from taking people from Academy No. 2. Hun Lam stepped forward to mock, "You're really something." His face reddened. "What talent does Academy No. 2 have worth poaching?" He proudly added, "Without Ngui Tat Hoi, Academy No. 2 would have been crushed by No. 3 already." Getting more riled, Hun Lam said, "Therefore this year Academy No. 3 should get more resources." And Huai Tri firmly responded, "Why rush? The trial isn't over yet." Li Thian Deep glanced at the leaderboard calmly. Although just starting, the layout is clear. The more demon beasts killed, the stronger the students' abilities. The gap between them grows wider. Suddenly, the leaderboard numbers jumped wildly. Hun Lam was shocked to see the top spot flash with the name Tram 98 points. Li Thian Deep muttered in panic, "Who is Tram? Never heard the name before. How did he leap to 98 points? How many demon beasts did he kill?" "Headmaster." And Huai Tri was stunned, muttering, "What's going on?" Tram. A nobody without a title. How did he climb to first place? Though confused, he quickly seized the opportunity to taunt Hun Lam. "You just snubbed me in front of Lousy. Now Academy No. 2 is in the lead. Not convinced, huh?" Hun Lam gaped, still in disbelief. There must be some mistake. And Huai Tri thought, whatever the issue, just put on a brave face first. He sneered in response. "What mistake? An unknown kid leaps straight to first place, far ahead of second place. There can be no error. The system is run by the central brain. Everyone knows that intelligence never fails." Hun Lam growled firmly, "I demand a recheck." And Huai Tri confidently raised his head. "Go ahead and check. Lao Tzu ranked first, you'll die of frustration. The third academy wants to surpass the second dream on." In the trial space, Zhao Zilong and Li Lei stared wide-eyed at To Tram's earth-shaking punch that wiped out the entire pack of Red Claw demons. Zhao Zilong stammered in disbelief. One punch killed all the Red Claw demons. How is that possible? To Tram was still dazed, immersed in the radiant golden light surrounding his body. He muttered confusedly, "What is happening to my body? Why is there this light?" Zhao Zilong looked over in astonishment and exclaimed, "1 star. Brother Tu is breaking through to a 1-star professional. The trial just started and he already reached 1 star. This speed is enough to dominate all elites of the #1 academy." But To Tram still shook his head hazily. 1-star professional, but I don't have a profession. Nor do I feel any transformation. In another corner of the trial space, 2 bald men were facing off against a pack of wolf demons. They were fierce, big-bodied with glowing red eyes. One sneered contemptuously, "1-star beasts this small aren't worth worrying about. Our strength exceeds 1 star. No one here is a match in this trial." The other nodded. 1-star beasts don't matter. The main thing is whether that thing is here. The other confirmed decisively, "It's here. This spatial point just appeared, but 1,000 years ago someone had entered here. What we're looking for must be inside." The bald man opened a golden briefcase. A brilliant purple light radiated from the stone inside. The mechanism instantly activated, causing the canyon walls to shake and collapse loudly. The defeated wolf demons suddenly awakened. A sharp red horn grew on each of their heads, glowing fiercely. The bald man frowned and muttered, "Such a big disturbance. I feel the surrounding space has changed. The beast's strength is also much stronger." He hurried toward the activated mechanism door, but his face darkened. "Not good. The door won't open." The other shouted in panic, "The wolf pack is charging!" Suddenly, the lead wolf stomped hard, knocking the bald man to the ground. He gritted his teeth, realizing the strength was now 2 stars. These beasts jumped from 1 star to 2 stars. The other turned pale. "There's only one possibility. I triggered the mechanism to change this space point from a 1-star trial to 2 stars. This time it's going to be troublesome." In another corner, To Tram's team continued deeper into the trial field. Lili sighed wearily. "Never thought the trial would be this easy. We've been walking half a day without seeing any monsters." He concluded, "The Red Claw demons here must have been cleaned out by Brother To in one sweep. To find other monsters, we have to go deeper." Suddenly, noises came from the cliff ahead. 3 beasts resembling ostriches growled. Their heads looked like giant, golden, furry slippers. Zhao Zilong whispered, "Those are 1-star shell-head rooster beasts, much stronger than Red Claw demons. Be careful." From the opposite canyon gap, another team of trainees appeared. They also spotted the beasts. It was Zhang Yueyue's team the ex-girlfriend Li Lei had kicked out. The Red Boar demons. The easiest 1-star monsters have all disappeared. Now only 1-star monsters remain. Zhang Yueyue cleared her throat and declared, "Shellhead roosters are the weakest 1-star monsters. Full firepower. Our team can handle them." Li Lei stepped forward to argue. "Zhang Yueyue thought we spotted the shellhead roosters before you?" She gave a mocking glance. "Li Lei, you have some skill, but bringing To Tram along halves your team's strength. Even if I let you can, your team kill these 3 1-star beasts." Li Loi quickly turned to To Tram. She looked down on him. "Get up." But To Tram shook his head wearily. "Get up, my ass. After that last energy burst, my strength is completely drained. Now I'm just an ordinary person." Li Loi turned to Tru Tu Long with a grumble. "You get up. Can't let a woman look down on us." But Trio Tu Long shook his head and refused. Li Loi sighed, ready to charge, when the 2 of them rushed over and grabbed his legs, shouting in unison, "Stop! If you go up, it will cause big trouble." Watching the 3 men huddled in the corner, Trung Duit Duit snorted sarcastically. "All show. Just a bunch of useless guys!" Suddenly a shout came from afar. "Huin Tiu from Academy Number 3, clear the arena. Unauthorized personnel, keep away." Li Loi glanced and recognized the newcomer as Huin Kai, the 3rd-ranked student of Academy Number 3, the principal's favored prodigy. Huin Lum Maduk and Maduk. Huin Kai's subordinates arrogantly declared, "We've got this pack of beasts covered." Li Loi muttered in frustration, "Covering the arena. This idiot thinks this is a bar or something." Trung Duit Duit suddenly stepped forward shyly close to Huin Kai. "Don't you recognize me?" Huin Kai looked at her and nodded. "So it's you, Duyet Duyet." He waved his hand to order. "Except for the girls in love. Everyone else clear out." But Trung Duet Duet, who liked to stir up trouble, sneered, Huin Kai, let my team Tram stay. Let them see what a truly strong team looks like. Huin Kai nodded without hesitation. Fine. He glanced at Trung Duet Duet with a mocking smile. After this, come visit my new mansion. My cat knows how to flip the game. Immediately, the girls in Trung Duet Duet's team transformed into silver-armored warriors with gleaming long swords. She charged forward, shouting, Kill! The two teammates also transformed and charged at the Bao Dao K from different angles, unleashing powerful attacks. Team Toe Tram watched in stunned amazement. Trio Too Long muttered. Leloy sighed in disbelief. That physique, and she's a warrior. Damn, she's clearly a tank. Trung Duet Duet glanced over proudly. See, Leloy, I'm on the stronger team now. You leaving me to keep Toe Tram was the biggest mistake of your life. Just wait and watch me top this survey. Huin Kai, who had been standing still, suddenly drew his sword and charged, fiercely roaring, I am Huin Kai the swordsman. Loud and clear, everyone get out of my way so I can show off. He led the three armored warrior girls at the front of the team, all shouting together, determined to take down the Bao Dao K. Suddenly, a deafening explosion rang out from the nearby mountain. Huin Kai was startled, shouting loudly, What's going on? Before he could gather himself, the lame beast suddenly transformed, sprouting shiny saw blades on its head and on two wings. Huin Kai panicked wildly, swinging his sword. What is this? In the blink of an eye, the saw blade on the beast's wing struck him, sending him flying. The three armored girls suffered the same fate, thrown down painfully by the remaining saw blades, groaning in pain. Trio Too Long's eyes widened in horror. Is this a two-star saw beast? How did it evolve from a one-star beast to 2 stars? Huin Kai, still rolling on the ground, muttered, 2-star saw beast. What the hell is going on? Two teammates rushed to help him up, shouting, Huin Tiu, don't worry about it, just run. 2-star beasts are not something we can handle. The other nodded repeatedly, preparing to flee. Suddenly, a small pair of hands grabbed Huin Kai's leg. Duet, weak and injured, crawled over. Brother Huin, save me. Take me away, I'm hurt. Huin Kai didn't hesitate, brushing her off, making her fall backward. Get lost. I can't carry you anymore. Trung Duet knelt in fear, begging, Brother Huin, I can't move. Don't leave me. You said you'd take me to your cat's ride. Huin Kai coldly kicked her again. Get lost. I don't have time for this. She trembled, trying to crawl up, shouting, Someone help me! On the other side, the saw-toothed beast furiously attacked her teammates. Huin Kai ran while turning back to urge his teammates to hurry. But somehow the beast blocked their path, growling with interest. A panicked team asked, Huntio, what do we do now? 3 people combined are no match for one saw-toothed beast, let alone 2. Huin Kai suddenly remembered and quickly pulled a mysterious blue orb from his pocket, shouting, Don't panic. My father gave me a way to protect my life. Huin Kai threw the blue orb toward To Tram's team, roaring, You bastards, take this. To Tram quickly coughed it, confused. What is this? Trio Too Long shouted in panic, To Tram, throw it quickly. This is a divine artifact that calls beasts to attract monsters' attention for a short time. But before he finished speaking, the orb exploded green smoke, enveloping the 3 frenzied saw-tooth beasts, who immediately turned slowly towards To Tram's team. Trung Duet collapsed to the ground, trembling and groaning. Huin Kai ran while laughing smugly. This kind-hearted young master doesn't need these saw-tooth monsters. I'll give them all to you. To Tram felt like he was about to explode. The system rang out angrily, adding 186 points. And Ian growled, You bastard, you dare trap me. I'll pin you down. Huin Kai sneered mockingly. You're about to die. This young master isn't afraid of being pinned. Trung Duet still hadn't gotten up, despairingly, shouting, I'm definitely going to die. What should I do? I don't want to die. I want to live. Someone save me. She begged to do anything. Leloy barked. Shut up, can you stop making noise? You think we're still here? Trung Duet bit her teeth bitterly. What can 3 useless people like you do? Chickens won't dare to move against a 1-star, let alone a 2-star saw-tooth beast. Before she finished, the beast jumped over her head and charged straight at To Tram. He was startled, unable to react in time, and was knocked down by the saw blade, groaning in pain. Leloy worriedly said, We're doomed. Anto is no match for the saw-tooth beasts. Despite fear, he stepped forward, growling, The only way is to risk our lives. But Trio Too Long hurriedly pulled him back and stepped forward firmly. You absolutely can't act this time. Leave it to me. The saw-tooth beast accelerated and roared. The sharp saw blade, as if wanting to crush everything, charged straight at Trio Too Long. He rushed forward, his body suddenly enveloped in a haze of smoke. When the smoke cleared, a beautiful young woman with purple hair wearing a sailor dress and holding a staff appeared, both seductive and fiery. Leloy widened his eyes. What the heck is this? A beauty. Trieu Tu Long swung his axe to directly counter the saw blade of the beast, shouting, "To Tram, you guys go ahead. I'll hold off the sawtooth beast." Trung Duet hurriedly interrupted. Okay. You hang in there, we'll go first." She staggered to her feet. To Tram and Leloy nodded. "Get out of here fast." On the other side, Trieu Tu Long took a step back after taking a hit. Seeing that, Trung Duet groaned. "To Tram, aren't you listening to me? Just use the chance to run." To Tram observed the battle and resolutely replied, "If Trung Duet wants to go, she can go. I'm not going." She sneered bitterly. "A nobody like you acting all high and mighty. Not afraid to die, I forgot how miserable I am." She shook her head. "Why am I so unlucky? To run into trash like you." To Tram lost patience and slapped her hard. Trung Duet covered her face, turning back and screaming again, "How dare you hit me!" She lunged at Leloy, shouting, "That useless guy hit me! Are you just going to stand there and watch?" Without a word, Leloy swung and slapped her again. "Get lost! I've wanted to hit you for a long time." Meanwhile, Trieu Tu Long was knocked down by two sawtooth beasts. Luckily, he landed safely. To Tram rushed forward to block in front of her friend, shouting loudly, "Step back! You're no match for it." Trieu Tu Long worried, "To Tram, don't force it. You were just defeated by a sawtooth beast." But To Tram stood firm, flames flaring around her, an aura of rage covering her eyes, blazing as she stared at the beast that dared harm her friend. He growled, "I won't forgive you." The two beasts charged like moths to a flame. To Tram shouted, unleashing the strongest punch with blazing fury. The punch exploded thunderously, tearing the two beasts into pieces. Leloy proudly cheered, "That's my brother." One punch takes down two beasts. What kind of power is this? To Tram thought silently as she unleashed the strongest punch. The system announced, the punch's power depends on the charging time and the rage level of the host. The greater the rage, the stronger the punch. Thanks to the rage value, he succeeded. Trung Duet stood aside, face pale with fear. How is this possible? To Tram can't have this kind of strength. Surely it's because I injured the sawtooth beast that he got lucky. Suddenly, three other sawtooth beasts appeared. Trung Duet panicked. At this rate, even if someone blocks them, they won't be able to escape. To Tram frowned. The last strongest punch had already consumed half her strength. The rage. He looked at the monsters charging toward them, silently thinking, I must recover my rage immediately. He remembers Huin Kai, gritting his teeth at that bastard. The system announces rage plus 100 points, but it's still not enough. To Tram is helpless. Even that holy stabbing player didn't make me angry enough. He stands rooted facing the two giant monsters, Trieu Tu Long and Leloy. Extreme worry. Suddenly, To Tram gathers his strength. The system rings out rage plus 1086 points. He roars loudly, the great blade slashing down an enemy leader. Exploding, blasting away two monsters, not stopping. To Tram continues, eyes blazing red. 14 years of resistance war against America helping North Korea. I'm enraged to the end. The system again reports rage plus 186 points. This time, the serrated monsters are completely shattered by the terrifying punch. To Tram stands proudly. His eyes burning, roaring Tin Kang insult Manchu. Emerging from battle in China's Nason unyielding. He swings his fist flames in his hand, blazing fiercely. 5 chaotic lakes defending Mokbao opium war fire-burning Minvian. This is rage engraved deep in the bloodstream. Just a touch will ignite it. Leloy is stunned by To Tram's majestic aura, shouting wildly and crazily. To Tram channels all his strength into this punch that makes me hate him for life, releasing terrifying power. Yelling loudly, kill for China's rise. The punch shatters the serrated monsters into pieces. He wipes sweat from his hand, breathing a sigh of relief, finally finished, luckily. Trung Duet trembles, muttering, a nobody kills a whole bunch of 2-star monsters. Is this a divine record? To Tram stands under the sun's light like a god amid the ruins. He looks up and declares this world is full of danger. But if To Tram has arrived, he will fight alongside it. Leloy whispers curiously. Brother To, could your real profession be a sorcerer? What spell did you just chant? You're getting stronger the more you speak. He's stunned, shocked beyond understanding. Trieu Tu Long is also dazed, unable to return to normal. In the monitoring room, the leaderboard shakes. Li Zhongyan from Academy number 1 overtakes the lead with 106 points. Li Tianjip smugly turns to the principals. Li Zhongyan has caught up to To Tram. Geniuses never stay buried. Huinlum glances at Anhui Tree silently in the corner, mocking. And Hui Tree, why aren't you saying anything? Your school's Totram has dropped to 3rd place, and Hui Tree's face is serious. So what if 3rd place? 3rd place is still excellent. Huinlum scornfully waves his hand. Don't comfort yourself. That unknown Totram has been around so long, but his accumulated points barely move. He really is trash. The leaderboard continues. The true genius has revealed his power. Soon Totram will fall out of the top 10. But at that moment, the leaderboard rings with a sharp ding. The name Totram miraculously leaps to 1st place with 208 points, like a slap straight in Huinlum's face. Li Diep is stunned. What 208 points? What's happening? How did Totram suddenly take 1st place with such a wide lead over 2nd? Principal An regains calm. His cold eyes scan the leaderboard. The corner of his mouth lifts into a smile that doesn't fade. Meanwhile, the other two keep muttering with dissatisfaction. Ridiculous, too ridiculous. He leisurely approaches Huinlum. His chubby hand waves in front of the opponent's aged face, his tone eerie and strange. Huinlum is slapped in the face. Does it make a squishy sound? Huinlum is angry, unable to help but look to Li Diep for some solidarity. Dean Leadhead Guy definitely has a problem. If it's not that brat who's the problem, then the trial itself is the problem. Principal An raises his hand with an indifferent tone. Stop talking. If it's not a problem, aren't you ashamed? Suddenly a bell rings from the leaderboard. But this time it's not the familiar notification sound, but a sharp, urgent danger alarm. Huinlum startles, his face pale. This is a level 1 trial warning, something's wrong. He bursts out laughing, tone full of pride. Just as I guessed, there's a problem with the trial. Among us and Hui Chi, who is the one embarrassed. But at that moment, a staff member rushed into the room, trembling as he reported that the 3 principals were facing a major issue. Just now, the space portal where the students were standing suddenly changed from a 1-star training ground to a 2-star training ground. All 3 principals were horrified and exclaimed in unison, "What? How could this happen?" Li Diep hurriedly asked what the cause was and if it had been discovered yet. The staff member shook his head anxiously, saying the cause was still unknown. They only knew that after it changed to a 2-star training ground, all the 1-star monsters inside transformed into extremely dangerous 2-star monsters. Li Diep immediately realized the situation had become extremely serious. 2-star monsters are not something students who haven't reached 1-star level can handle. Even Huinlam understood that even Li Duongyan, the most outstanding student, could only barely protect himself. Principal A frowned, his voice low. Can anyone enter the trial area now? The technician replied helplessly, no one can get in. Although the 1-star trial area has become 2-star, the entry conditions have not changed. Only adventurers below 1 star can enter. All teachers here are above 1 star and cannot enter. Huinlum's face was drained of blood. Mr. Huin Kai's son was still trapped inside. This is troublesome. The 2-star monster inside will probably cause a massacre. And Hui Chi smirked, his tone full of challenge. Not necessarily. Huinlum gritted his teeth. What do you mean by not necessarily? And Hui Chi pointed at the ranking board. His sharp gaze said it all. Just now, Totram's rank suddenly shot up. What does this mean? It means Totram killed a 2-star monster. Only by killing a 2-star monster can one earn such a large number of points to boost their rank so drastically. This explanation made sense, but Huinlum stubbornly disagreed. No way the 2nd academy of yours could produce such an outstanding student if it's the weakest. Li Diep, though also doubtful, spoke up. It sounds surprising, but this is the most reasonable explanation. And Hui Chi suddenly pulled out a shoe from somewhere unexpected. He slammed it hard onto Huinlum's face. Furious, Huinlum, confused about what was going on, pushed the principal's hand away and shouted, "Why are you hitting me?" And Hui Chi, having started, didn't hold back, retorting smugly, "Because you always belittle our academy. Take that for your face." Huinlum's face twisted in pain, and before he could react, Hui Chi pressed on, mercilessly insulting him, and conveniently embarrassed, gave him the shoe to crawl into the trial area's inner space. Totram quickly realized the situation was turning strange. How else could a 2-star monster appear here? He turned to the team firmly. We have to find a way out immediately. The 2,000 too-long teleportation gate is at the end of the secret area, still some way to go. Without hesitation, Totram set off. Suddenly, Trung Duit grabbed his arm, pleading, "Big brother, take me with you." Her tone changing in a flash, making Totram sneer, "Big brother, what? Not even if you call me dad." Before he finished, Trung Duit knelt down, eyes shining. "Dad, please accept me." Her admiring gaze and tight grip on his arm made him shudder inwardly, thinking, "Damn, she's brutal." At the teleportation gate, two suspicious bald men in black were surrounded by four two-star beasts. One panicked, trembling voice, "What do we do now? The teleport gate won't open and two-star monsters surround us." The fat bald man with thick lips muttered, "The one-star trial turning two-star is unprecedented. It must be related to what Latieu wants. Latieu spent a lot of money on special tools to get two one-star adventurers like us in here. We knew it wasn't ordinary, but who expected it could change the spatial node level?" The skinny man interrupted angrily. "What's the point of talking now? The key is how to get out." The fat man replied, "The exit gate is inside the teleport gate. Whether to take something or escape, we must open this teleport gate first." The skinny man turned abruptly, voice despairing, "So we can't get out. The trial area is now two-star, and only two-star adventurers can open the teleport gate. Facing two-star monsters surviving is lucky. Who can advance to 2 stars? The scene shifted to To Tram's group. The three men finally gave in to Trung Duit Duit's ferocity and let her go with To Tram. As they walked, she pondered aloud, "After the spatial node in the trial area mutated for so long and no teachers from the academy could enter, it proves they can't get in. Looks like from now on we can only rely on ourselves." Leloy crossed his arms, worry clear in his eyes. "The path ahead is filled with two-star monsters. How can we easily reach the end of the secret area?" He muttered heavily, "I don't know how many people will be buried here." Just then, he saw two figures far ahead being chased by a monster screaming non-stop, "Watch out!" Getting closer, Leloy recognized them as Li Longtiu and Triu Lo. Li Longtiu moved swiftly, aiming his gun right at the beast. He pulled the trigger, continuously firing 16 shots from each gun in just 3 seconds, looking like a seasoned shooter. Flashy moves, but full of vigor. However, the two-star beast was unharmed and still charged fiercely. Li Longtiu was stunned to realize his bullets couldn't penetrate the thick skin of the two-star monster. With no other choice, both had to muster all their strength and keep running. Only then did Triu Lo speak firmly, "Let me." She stopped and raised her staff high, a brilliant light flashing. A magnificent Earth Mother spell was cast, dust and rocks swirling to bind the charging two-star beast in place, freezing it on the spot. Li Longtiu ran over, unable to hide his admiration. "Lolo really has to rely on her professional mage skills. They're truly powerful." Triu Lo replied coldly, "Get out of here quickly. I can only temporarily trap this beast to delay it." Nearby, Trio Tu Long and Trung Duet Duet watched Triu Lo confront the two-star one-horned wolf beast. Li Longtiu, with ears sharp as a stray dog's, suddenly heard a voice and turned around in surprise. "To Tram! Is that you? You're someone without a profession who's still alive? I have to say you're lucky." Triu Lo glanced over with disdainful eyes, not bothering. "I don't care about him." "Let's split up." Li Longtiu nodded. "Got it. We'll go this way to avoid involving them." Triu Lo didn't forget to throw a cold line back as she turned. "To Tram, don't blame me. We have no ties anymore. Don't come here. I won't take you with me, let alone save you." To Tram stood stunned, watching their backs fade away speechless. Leloy shook his head in frustration, goosebumps rising. "These people really have thick skin. Why would anyone want to save them?" Trung Duit Duit immediately joined in, her tone full of irritation. "Exactly. I can't stand this kind of stupid woman, blind as a bat, miserable, just like I used to be." Not stopping there, she sighed dramatically. "I really don't understand what To Tram Bro sees in her. She's not even worthy to put on his shoes." Trung Duit Duit tried hard to flatter by even insulting herself to lift To Tram up. Triu Tu Long stood beside them, unable to hold back laughter. "To Tram has been standing still like a statue. Everyone thought he was heartbroken, but it turns out he's just furious." An invisible fire flared wildly behind him, and he rubbed his sleeves coldly. "I'm going to kill some two-star monsters to vent this rage. No way to waste it." Saying so, To Tram threw a furious thunder punch straight through the one-horned wolf's body, shaking the entire area. Leloy's eyes widened in horror. "So strong, Tobro, what profession are you after all?" "You really don't have a profession. I'm more and more confused." Triu Tu Long scratched his head awkwardly. "I'm not sure either, but To Tram really doesn't have one." At that moment, while Totram was still a bit angry, a golden aura surrounded his body, and two sparkling stars appeared above his head, spinning mysteriously. Totram was bewildered, not understanding what was happening. Leloy suddenly realized and excitedly shouted, "These are the two spirits, Tobro! You've reached 2 stars!" Just one step away from becoming a 2-star profession. Totram turned quickly, surprised already. 2 stars? Leveling up is this easy? Leloy was stunned, then laughed. Easy. This is the first time I've heard someone say leveling up is easy. He patiently explained that reaching 1 star is relatively easy, because after awakening, a profession user's strength is nearly equal to 1 star. But going from 1 star upward each level up is a huge leap. The difficulty increases 10,000 times. Most profession users can't reach 2 stars in their lifetime. Even geniuses often get stuck at 2 or 3 stars and can't advance further, poor Tulong Chen. Beyond that, from 2 stars onward, leveling up requires undergoing a profession transfer trial. This trial eliminates countless people. Totram was puzzled, his mind full of questions. What is a profession transfer trial? Leloy looked embarrassed. Toka explained this before, didn't you learn? Toka chuckled, beating the drum. I'm just testing everyone. Trungjuet immediately took the chance, excitedly answering. Tokai know this question. Each profession has a corresponding spirit tower. When a profession user breaks through a level, they must go to the spirit tower to participate in the trial. Only after passing the trial is the star-level advancement considered successful. She continued excitedly, but the spirit tower is extremely dangerous. Many genius profession users have died inside or been severely injured. Their career paths shattered. This is a huge threshold that blocks many experts. Trio Tulong added that high-level profession users with star ranks are as rare as autumn leaves. The reason Totram leveled up so fast is because he has the ability to kill monsters above his level. This can't be explained in the usual way. For other profession users, a 1-star killing a 2-star is unrealistic. Totram pondered with a thoughtful gaze. After upgrading to 2 stars, he still had to face the Star Tower trial corresponding to his profession. But what if he has no profession? What should he do? He turned and asked if there was any Star Tower trial for those without a profession. The other 3 shook their heads helplessly. Leloy said in a low voice, as far as I know, there isn't any. All Star Towers are divided according to professions. If I don't have a corresponding profession, I can't enter. Totram suddenly had a curious thought. No Star Tower means I can directly upgrade stars without any trial. Leloy was embarrassed and couldn't answer. Trio Tulong added that it could be understood as having no way to upgrade stars. Totram was not discouraged. He clenched his fist with a determined look. Let's go kill a few more 2-star monsters and test my theory myself. Totram's team moved to a valley where quite a few people had gathered around. Everyone was intently watching down below. Looking closely, they saw a figure locked in fierce combat with a saw-toothed beast. Totram stroked his chin thoughtfully while observing. In front of Trio Tulong, he exclaimed in surprise, few dare to fight a 2-star monster head-on like that. Below, the saw blade of the beast spun sharper than ever. A platinum blonde girl charged in with a knife for close combat. She executed the haunting stealth move, making the brutal power of the saw blade dissipate. The beast was knocked far away by the force. While it was dazed, the girl jumped onto the blade, aiming straight for its neck to finish it off. But just as the blade touched the beast, it suddenly swung the saw to stop the attack. The giant saw thousands of times bigger than the knife created a terrifying force that slammed the girl hard against a rock. The beast also couldn't escape the recoil and slid across the ground, leaving a deep trail. Clinging to the rock to regain strength, the platinum blonde girl was Li Xungyan of the First Academy. She gritted her teeth and cursed, damn it. Although she could find openings to attack the saw beast, she had just reached the 1st star level. Her skill level was too low to harm a 2-star saw beast. Above, a girl widened her eyes in amazement and asked, "Who dares fight a 2-star monster like that?" The boy beside her quickly answered, "That's Li Xungyan, the #1 genius of the First Academy. She's also the top genius of the 3 goddess academies, and you don't know her." Someone else eagerly interrupted. Li Xungyan's profession is Shadow Assassin, a super powerful combat profession of the human race. There was once a 9-star powerhouse with this profession. Someone in the crowd couldn't help but exclaim, "Li Xungyan is our last hope." A boy standing next to Leloy also marveled, "No wonder she's the top genius. She can fight evenly with a 2-star monster. We can't compare to her at all." Leloy sneered with disdain, who said, "We can't match her. Fighting evenly is nothing special. Toka can kill a 2-star monster instantly." A guy in the crowd laughed loudly at this and slurred. He really drank a lot before saying that. Others joined in laughing. "Oh man, killing a 2-star monster instantly, I think he's crazy." Another added no idea if he's crazy, but he's definitely drunk. Leloy shook his head and waved coldly. You guys think others can't do it just because you can't, right? That's because your vision is too narrow. He turned to To Tram with sparkling eyes. Taka, do you want to show them a lesson? To Tram calmly replied, Leloy, you should be humble. The one who was mocking immediately pointed at Leloy and growled, Kid, do you know who I am? Dare to talk back to me. Before anyone could ask, he answered, I am Tiu Hua Hua, the #1 genius of the 3rd Academy. My strength is second only to Li Xungyan. Facing a 2-star monster, I can only barely hold on. He pointed at To Tram with a challenging tone. Leloy, do you think this guy can defeat me? Ridiculous. Then he laughed loudly. If he can beat me, I'll call him Daddy. Li Xungyan stepped out from the 5th row and shouted straight into his face, Shut up, Tiu Hua Hua! But he didn't even bother to look at her arrogantly. He asked her who she was. Everyone thought Li Xungyan would say something sharp. But unexpectedly, Truong Duyet cut in shouting, Don't steal my dad from me! Tiu Hua Hua was stunned, scratching his head confused about what she meant. Then suddenly he realized something and pointed at Truong Duyet. Who's stealing your dad? You're crazy! To Tram, headache-inducing, glared at Truong Duyet. What are you saying? Don't talk nonsense. I'm not his dad. Tiu Hua Hua rubbed his nose, sneering. Kid, consider yourself sensible and understanding me. To Tram turned away with full dissatisfaction. Isn't he just using me as his dad? Truong Duyet laughed along fiercely. Exactly, he's using you. Tiu Hua Hua was so angry his face turned red, pointing wildly. I called you dad, what is there to take advantage of from you? He was furious to this point of rage, but couldn't argue with the whole group. To Tram, helpless with the argument, clenched his fist and charged forward. Today I'm definitely going to teach you all a lesson. Down in the valley, the sawtooth monsters were still fighting fiercely. Even more of them were arriving. Lai Xungyan panicked, shouting loudly to the crowd, New sawtooth monsters are attacking from above. Retreat to the last point quickly. Hearing the shout, everyone immediately scattered. A few brave souls not afraid of death even turned back shouting, 2 monsters, 2 stars. Li Xungyan couldn't hold out much longer either. The 2 sawtooth monsters saw the crowd fleeing and ignored Li Xungyan, immediately chasing eastward. Their leader seemed even more delighted. Li Xungyan rushed over, blocking the way, shouting loudly, Beast, stop right there for me! But the 2 monsters split up. One confronted her while the other wildly chased after the fleeing crowd. Lai Xungyan urgently shouted, Not good, I can only hold off 1 2-star monster. This is going to be troublesome. Tiu Hua Hua, who had been furious wanting to teach. To Tram, a lesson froze, seeing the danger. He glanced at To Tram angrily. Kid, consider yourself lucky. If it weren't for the 2-star monster's sudden attack, you'd already be lying face down here. I'll come for you later. Saying that, he hurried over to the other 2, still watching the 2-star monster approach. Hurry up. Suddenly, Li Xungyan shouted again from the valley. Classmates, someone help me stop the sawtooth monster ahead. If it breaks into the academy, the consequences will be unimaginable. Tiu Hua Hua tried to escape, but was pulled back by To Tram, grabbing his shirt. To Tram sneered, This is for you. He turned around angrily. Shut up for me. To Tram wouldn't let him escape, and shouted down to Li Xungyan. Her power is just above the #1 genius of the 3rd Academy, Tiu Hua Hua. He says he can stop a 2-star monster. Tiu Hua Hua angrily retorted, When did I say that, bastard? To Tram smirked, Then prove it. Prove it enough. Li Xungyan fought off a monster while shouting, Tiu Hua Hua, help me hold back that sawtooth monster a bit. Once I drive this one off, I'll come right away. Tiu Hua Hua, who had been boasting confidently earlier, now stammered nervously, unable to get the words out. To Tram added fuel to the fire. It's not that you're scared or unwilling, right? This hit Tiu Hua Hua's pride perfectly, making him shout, Who said I'm scared? I'm the #1 prodigy of the 3rd Academy. Saying that he boldly charged at the sawtooth monster, I represent the 3rd Academy, I can stop a 2-star monster. But in the blink of an eye, the monster swung its sharp saw wings, and Tiu Hua Hua coughed up blood being flung to the side. He ran away like the wind, shouting as he ran, 2-star monsters are terrifying. From above, a mocking voice rang down, What a loser, Tiu Hua Hua. Despite running hard, he stopped and pointed at To Tram. A nobody dares to look down on me. Now let's see how the 2-star monster tears you apart. Nearby, Li Xungyan swung a sharp blade, knocking away the sawtooth monster, pinning her. Without hesitation, she charged at the other monster, which was wildly advancing toward To Tram, shouting loudly, Run to me, I'll save you! To Tram, on the other hand, wasn't very concerned. A cold light flashed in his eyes. This monster was unlucky. The anger inside him had built up enough for a devastating punch. Tiu Hua Hua stood aside, sneering and mocking. What do I see an idiot daring to attack a two-star monster? Do you think you're Li Shuangyan? Even Li Shuangyan shook her head, thinking, Tram was too reckless. Two-star monsters aren't something ordinary students can handle. But before he could run up, Tram unleashed a terrifying punch. His power exploded and the sawtooth monster shattered into pieces like scattered machine parts. Tiu Hua Hua's eyes widened, almost popping out. What is this one punch turned a serrated monster into components? Li Sunyan was also stunned, his heart pounding. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. He always thought he was the undefeated champion of the 3 academies, but unexpectedly someone stronger appeared. He wondered which academy this student belonged to. Tram had just unleashed a radiant burst of power surrounding my body, but this time I held my head, grimacing in pain, and shouted loudly. Liloi and Trio Tulong hurried over, saw Tram collapse, and anxiously asked what was wrong. Tram regained his composure, stood up straight with a slightly trembling voice, and said, It's nothing. This feeling means I've reached 2 stars. I didn't expect advancing to 2 stars would hurt like my head was about to explode. Liloi was amazed and admiring. 2 stars without entering the spirit tower, still breaking through to 2 stars. Toka is truly one of a kind in the world. Trio Lung nodded and added, Tram, someone without a profession is already one of a kind. Not needing to enter the spirit tower isn't strange at all. Tram pondered and muttered, The good news is I advanced stars without entering the spirit tower. The bad news is others who reach 2 stars gain significant power, but I have no change except a splitting headache. At that moment, Li Shuangyan approached with a curious and admiring look. What's your name? One punch dispersed a 2-star monster. Why have I never heard of your profession before? Tram gave a thumbs up, pointing to my handsome face with a decisive tone. Tram has no profession. Li Shuangyan was briefly stunned. No profession? But she quickly assumed he just didn't want to reveal it. She said, Forget it. If you don't want to say, I won't force it. After all, we're rivals. She turned to leave, but suddenly stopped, her eyes sparkling challengingly. Tram, you are the first true rival I've met, Li Shuangyan. Let's compete, I won't lose to you. Tram gaped, annoyed. Who wants to compete with you? He muttered unwillingly. Honestly, I don't even believe it. The thinking of a prodigy is really not normal. Not paying further attention to Tram turned to the 3 team members with determination. Let's go! We need to leave here quickly! Seeing Tiu Hua Hua still standing like a statue, he frowned and asked, Why aren't you leaving yet? Tiu Hua Hua shamelessly pointed at himself. Me? Take me with you. I want to go with everyone. He secretly thought only sticking close to Tram was safe now. I must hold on to this thigh tightly. Tram waved his hand coldly. Give me a reason to take you along. Tiu Hua Hua immediately dropped his pride, bowed deeply on one knee. I, Tiu Hua Hua, have wandered half my life only regretting never meeting the Ming leader. If you don't abandon me, I swear to become your sworn uncle. Trung Duet Duet Liloi and Trio Tulong were stunned speechless at his shamelessness, far surpassing even Trong Duet Duet. Tram couldn't help but laugh and exclaimed, Damn it, you really are a genius! The group of 4, now with Tiu Hua Hua as the 5th, continued on their way. They walked a long distance until reaching a giant bronze door where many people were gathered. Liloi whispered excitedly to Tram. According to the guide, we are close to the destination. Inside the bronze door ahead is a teleportation formation leading outside. Liloi and Trio Tulong approached to inspect. Trio Tulong frowned and said, Something's wrong. Why are there so many people here? Why is no one entering the bronze gate? Liloi grabbed someone from the crowd and urgently asked about the current situation. The person was sweating and trembling. Brother Loi, this bronze gate requires a 2-star profession user to open. Now we're stuck on both sides. Just now we barely pushed back an attack from several 2-star monsters. Liloi turned to Tram. Maybe you're the only one here with 2 stars. Only a 2-star profession user can open this door. Ka will need your help next. Tiu Hua Hua at the back of the group turned around with a pale face. Dust swirled thickly, revealing countless shadowy figures. Looking closely, it was a pack of 2-star beasts rushing toward the crowd in front of the bronze gate. Panic erupted with shouts, Danger, more 2-star monsters coming to kill us! Quick, form a formation! The students at the front jostled and pushed in chaos. Someone yelled, Get out of the way, I'm weak. Let me stay in the back, facing death. No one cared about manners anymore. Even Li Lang-tiu and Trio Lo were pushed aside. Hearing shouts, "Get lost! Don't block our way!" The noisy crowd scrambled forward. Li Lang-tiu shouted angrily, "What do you want?" "I am Li Lang-tiu, a professional melee attacker. Ours have high attack but low defense. Must stay in the back." On the other side, a big guy leading the team was Thach Hao from the 3rd Academy, shouting fiercely, "I don't care what your profession is. Our 3rd Academy fights inside, while your 2nd Academy faces the monsters outside." The students from the 2nd Academy behind Li Lang-tiu exploded with shouts. "Damn it, the 3rd Academy doesn't dare bully the 1st Academy, but turns around to pick on the 2nd Academy." Another person trembled as he spoke. "This is scary. This time there are more 2-star monsters than before. Aren't they just sending us to die?" Trio Lo stepped forward calmly but with a cold expression. "Classmates, I am Trio Lo, a noble mage, the #1 genius of the 2nd Academy. Please give me some respect." But Thach Hao, the bald-headed aggressive guy, ignored her, glaring, "Don't babble. I am also the 2nd prodigy of the 3rd Academy. You have no face to be here. Our 3rd Academy is stronger than the 2nd Academy, so do whatever you want." Trio Lo frowned, took out a brown notebook, and quickly wrote coldly, "Thach Hao, right. I remember your face." Don To Tram squeezed through the chaotic crowd politely. "Excuse me, please make way for me to pass." Li Lang-tiu turned back with a bitter tone. "Is that To Tram's group? Why are they still alive?" Thach Hao didn't bother to care, pointed at the crowd and roared, "Didn't you hear what I said? All 2nd Academy students get out now." To Tram shouted from the crowd, "Make way so I can open the Thandong Gate to help everyone." Thach Hao laughed as if hearing a joke, looking contemptuously at To Tram's small figure. "Are you kidding me? This Thandong Gate requires a 2-star profession to open." He pointed far away. "Now, all our hopes rest on Li Shuangyan, the #1 prodigy of the 1st Academy. Everyone is waiting for her to come." He poked To Tram's head mockingly. "What are you supposed to be? If you can open it, I'll call you Dad." The crowd around fell silent, their eyes bright with anticipation. To Tram sighed in frustration. "This 3rd Academy really likes calling others Dad." The words struck like a knife into Thach Hao. He flexed his bulging muscles and growled right in front of To Tram. "You trash from the 2nd Academy, you dare mess with me!" He pressed his finger against his face. "Do you know someone as ordinary as you has no right to speak before prodigies like us?" To Tram lost all patience with these people, raised his middle finger and cursed directly at the bald head. "Do you eat shit? Why does your breath stink so bad?" Li Lang-tiu crossed his arms, standing aside, sneering. "To Tram, who do you think you are? How dare you speak rudely to Thach Hao like that?" Trio Lo added sarcastically. "Or maybe he's confident and so annoying because he's trying to chase me by standing close." Thach Hao, furious from the insults, swung his arm at To Tram, growling, "Are you looking for death? Today I will shove your head up your own ass." Li Lang-tiu chuckled, thinking, this guy deserves to be beaten to death. But suddenly Tu Hua Hua rushed in from nowhere and slapped Thach Hao hard. "Get the hell out of here for me!" Li Lang-tiu witnessed this with his mouth wide open, as if he could swallow a whole melon. Thach Hao, a big-headed guy like a pig, fell onto him, and even naturally sat on his back, yelling loudly, "Who the hell hit me?" Tu Hua Hua glared at Thach Hao, the fat pig. "Don't you recognize me?" Thach Hao immediately changed his attitude, wagging his tail and flattering, "Hoa, brother, why is it you?" The crowd behind buzzed. That's Tu Hua Hua, the #1 prodigy of the 3rd Academy, rumored to be as strong as Li Shuangyan. Tu Hua Hua was relentless, slapping Thach Hao's bald head again. "Who told you to lay a hand on him? Did I tell you to do that?" Thach Hao's heavy butt dropped again onto Li Lang-tiu's skinny body, making him nearly bite his tongue in pain. Thach Hao angrily got up, face red, pointing at To Tram and yelling, "Hoa, brother! This brat is just trash from the 2nd Academy. He dared make me call him Dad, so I can't forgive him." Lang-tiu. Hua Hua said nothing, slapped Thach Hao's face again. "You deserve to call someone Dad." Thach Hao, as usual, fell down again, crushing the cushion of Li Lang-tiu. He tried to gather strength to sit up, growling, "I don't deserve that." Li Lang-tiu, crushed and hurting, crawled over to Trio Lo, wondering Luo Luo. Why is this Xiao Huo Huo helping our 2nd Academy? Zhao Lu, as self-absorbed as ever, pushed up her glasses smugly. "There's only one possibility he wants to save my face." Li Ling Xiao nodded, eyes brightening. "That's the only possibility. Only you Luo Luo could make a prodigy like Xiao Huo Huo act like this. Xiao Huo Huo stepped closer, his voice low as he asked Zhao Luo, "Are you satisfied with how I handled it?" Zhao Luo showed no embarrassment, pushing up her glasses again. "I'm satisfied." Li Ling Xiao quickly flattered, "Huo brother, you're too polite. On behalf of all the students of the Second Academy, thank you." Xiao Huo Huo disdainfully shook off the two thick-skinned ones and strode straight to Tutran. Meanwhile, Li Ling Xiao and Zhao Luo shamelessly turned back to watch the show. Xiao Huo Huo stood solemnly, voice respectful. "If there's any dissatisfaction, please speak up." Li Ling Xiao was puzzled, not understanding why Xiao Huo Huo treated Tutran with such reverence. Yet Zhao Luo pulled out a brown notebook, jotting down notes while murmuring, "Xiao Huo Huo right. I remember that name too." Behind them, the two-star Beast Legion closed in their roars, shaking the air. Li Shuangyan led the elite group from the First Academy, dashing like lightning to drive several one-horned wolves into the serrated beasts. The crowd behind cheered excitedly. "They're all geniuses from the top 10 strongest list. With them here, we have hope." Li Shuangyan dashed forward, shouting, "Step aside and let me open the Thandong Gate." She pushed with all her might against the two giant doors, yelling, "Open for me!" But the doors remained unmoved like stone. The beasts charged on fiercely, seemingly about to gain the upper hand. Ngui Tuthoy was slammed to the ground by a serrated beast urgently calling to Li Shuangyan. "We can't hold them off much longer. How's your side?" The passage was edited. Li Shuangyan was sweating profusely, breathing heavily with a hopeless tone. "No, it won't open. Only two-star can open it." The surrounding crowd panicked and buzzed. "Even Li Shuangyan can't open the Thandong Gate. This is really the end. The last hope is lost." "Ball." Just then, Tutran rolled up his sleeves calmly and stepped forward loudly, saying, "Let me." Ngui Tuthoy snapped from the ground. "What stupid trick are you trying now?" Tutran ignored him and went straight to the Thandong Gate, confidently declaring, "I can open this Thandong Gate." Ngui Tuthoy, still fighting mockingly, sneered, "Open what? Don't make me laugh." Standing in front of Tutran. "Don't cause trouble. You're not part of my team. Surviving this far is already a miracle." Li Ling Xiao also turned back to sneer. "Who are you talking to? Would anyone believe you?" "Nobody believes you. You're a complete idiot." Tutran, seeing time was short, pushed Ngui Tuthoy aside firmly. "I know the spell to open this gate. Step aside." Ngui Tuthoy scoffed coldly. "Spell nonsense. Only two-star professionals can open the Thandong Gate. What spell nonsense are you talking about?" Tutran approached the Thandong Gate, took a deep breath, and shouted loudly, "Li Ling Xiao is a big coward. Ngui Tuthoy is a paper tiger. Me, these two fools give me the power of a supreme elder level as powerful as a command." Those around listened, confused, wondering if that really was a spell. It seemed like he was just insulting Li Ling Xiao as a big coward and Ngui Tuthoy a paper tiger. Someone muttered, "He's just pushing with his eyes." After finishing the spell, he placed his hand on the door and roared, "Open for me!" Li Ling Xiao stood aside, still mocking. "If you open it, I'll live stream eating poop." But a second later, he immediately regretted it as the Thandong Gate under Tutran's hand slowly opened, revealing a bright golden light like a flame of hope. Ngui Tuthoy's forehead seemed to display the character for Tigermouth agape in astonishment. Both who had belittled Tutran stood frozen, unable to believe their eyes. The Thandong Gate was truly opened by a strange spell. The crowd surged forward, cheering, "It's open! He really opened the two-star secret gate." Some whispered, "Tutran didn't use any professional power. Could that ridiculous phrase really have been a spell?" Li Shuangyan's eyes widened in shock, voice trembling. 2 stars! Tutran has actually reached 2-star professional level. How did he do that?" While everyone was still stunned by Tutran's power, suddenly several elite beasts leapt forward. The one-horned wolves and serrated beasts roared non-stop, their eyes glowing red. The saw-toothed monsters started crazily rushing into the nearby crowd, ramming repeatedly. The whole area was chaotic screams echoing. Even the 2-star elite monsters appeared who could possibly withstand them. Run quickly into the Thandong Gate. In a hidden corner, a bald man watched the scene outside Thandong Gate, sighing. Thandong Gate has been breached again by a kid who doesn't even know how to use incantations. It's truly unimaginable. The other bald man groaned. "Groan, let's hurry and complete the mission." La Tio entrusted the group of trainees as they took turns passing through the Thandong Gate. Li Shuangyan and Ngui Tuthoy led the way, but after only a short distance, she suddenly screamed in horror, "This is..." Before them was a female spider monster with the upper body of a deadly seductive supermodel, but her lower body was 8 terrifying spider legs. Around her were giant spiders as large as carriages. The female monster raised her long, sharp claws, 6 horns on her head glowing with a mystical light. Her laughter replaced the human bloodthirsty memory of a delicacy attacking us. The group of trainees panicked, hearts pounding wildly. The 2-star boss Spider Queen monster only appears in mid-level dungeons from 3 stars upward. Why is she here? Before anyone could answer, the Spider Queen swung a sharp leg straight at them. "Come into my belly!" The giant leg hooked a male trainee's back, lifting him up. The man screamed in fear. "Help me!" The Spider Queen said nothing more, tossed him into her mouth, devoured him ravenously, blood splattering everywhere. She wiped her mouth, smiling with pleasure. Delicious home-cooked meal. Seeing the horrifying scene, the trainees fell into despair. They had thought they'd be saved, but instead fell into an even more terrifying danger. One trembling person said, "We're definitely dead." Li Shuangyan saw the dangerous situation and turned back, ordering everyone to retreat immediately. Ngui Tathoi turned around, his face pale. The Thendong Gate was still wide open, but 2 2-star saw-toothed monsters blocked the way, growling at them. He shouted, "We can't get out! They're blocking the door too well!" Li Shuangyan gritted her teeth, risking it all, gripping her knife and charging straight at the Spider Queen. "Then let's be strong, kill the Spider Queen and see." But her little strength before the boss-level monster was like a grain of sand. The Spider Queen swung her leg. Li Shuangyan was flung far away, sneering sarcastically. "How could you resist?" Li Shuangyan fell right where Tram and Tru Tulong stood. Tram hurried over to help her up, worriedly asking, "Are you okay?" Li Shuangyan wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, her voice full of helplessness. "The strength of a 2-star boss is completely unbeatable. It far exceeds our power." Above the desperate crowd, whispers rose. The Spider Queen spread her 8 legs and laughed. "Humans can fight. Ordinary meat is relatively tasty." Hearing this, Li Shuangyan jumped up from the ground, shouting loudly, "Hurry, everyone, get out of the way! Don't let the Spider Queen's claws touch you!" Though she said this, no one knew where to run, only panicked, looking around for a shred of hope to survive. The Spider Queen continued swinging her sharp claws toward Li Shuangyan. Tram couldn't stand it anymore, growled right in the monster's face. "What do you think we are? Cattle or goats to be killed at will?" His anger blazed fiercely. At that moment, the system in his head sounded, "Anger level plus 10,000. Tram immediately unleashed all his power through a thunderous punch, shouting, "I'm really angry now. Die." Lai Shuangyan stood beside him worriedly, trying to stop him. No need to fight directly. Even a 2-star professional is no match for it. But before she could finish, Tram's furious punch struck the Spider Queen's claw. The monster barely reacted, only feeling an itch. But Tram was thrown far back by the recoil. The Spider Queen laughed triumphantly, truly clueless, rushing forward as cooking material. Before she finished laughing, a cracking sound rang out. Her giant claw cracked and crumbled like dirt. The Spider Queen stared in disbelief at her broken leg. Li Shuangyan was stunned, murmuring, "We actually managed to injure the Spider Queen. Tram's power is stronger than mine." She glanced at Tram, who was staggering painfully, adjusting his aching spine, looking miserable. Tram sighed heavily, shaking his head in frustration. "This is my maximum anger level, and I only broke 1 claw. This level of monster can kill everyone here." Those hiding in corners began poking their heads out curiously, asking, "Has the attack stopped?" Another person replied, "Someone broke the Spider Queen's claw." "Not really," said Li Shuangyan. "She was just fighting it earlier." But the Spider Queen, having lost a claw, grew even angrier and screamed, "How dare the cooking ingredients hit me unforgivable? My children go have a good meal." A giant swarm of baby spiders rushed down from the ceiling, growling as they advanced toward Tram and the others. A baby spider charged forward but was cut in half by Ngui Tathoi with 1 sword strike. He shouted while fighting, "Li Shuangyan, quickly team up with the top 10 prodigies. Let's charge out together." Li Langtiu, hiding behind a corner holding a gun, muttered nervously, "Useless, the door is blocked by a 2-star monster." "Charging out like this is basically a death sentence." Ngui Tathoi roared in rebuttal, "Better than sitting and waiting to die." Li Langtiu fired at the baby spiders while shouting, "Waiting to die might at least delay death. But if you charge out like that, you'll die immediately." At this moment, Tram spoke firmly. Enough noise, I have 2 words to say. The elites fighting the baby spiders immediately turned around, curious to hear what he was going to say. Tram decisively extended his hand. Ngui Tat Hoi, give me Mo Dung Lu Diem's phone number. Everyone who heard this looked as stunned as a shoe sole, thinking, what does this guy want? We're about to die, and he's still thinking about this. Ngui Tat Hoi stiffened, performing his martial skill, Lion's Roar. Are you sick? When have you ever thought about such things? Meanwhile, at the Advanced Martial Academy, Thien Kin Mo Dung Lu Diem was training to fight monsters. In front of her was a monster that looked like a mutated scarecrow with tattered clothes. She frowned and asked, is this really the boss that everyone fears when they reach 4-star rank? The monster didn't answer, charging straight at her as a reply. Mo Dung Lu Diem swung her sword in a sharp arc. The monster immediately shattered into 2 bundles of dry straw. After the strike, she still looked cool and coldly said, what I want to say is you're a bit weak. On the announcement board, the 4th floor lit up brightly. A pink-haired girl jumped around excitedly shouting, no wonder she's the boss lady, Mo Dung Lu Diem. Calmly stepping out of the arena, the pink-haired girl excitedly spread her arms and chirped, congrats on your star promotion, little Lu Diem, you officially leveled up to 4-star Great Blade Master. Hurry up so I can give you a kiss. Mo Dung Lu Diem coldly pushed her head down. Man Miu Miu, is your butt itchy or what? Man Miu Miu quickly raised her butt, laughing loudly. Yeah, come smack it, I want you to smack it. Mo Dung Lu Diem ignored her, walking past with a cold tone. Whatever you want, I have to go teach professional experience to the students. All this stuff, leave it to me. I'm not a Taoist master anyway. Man Miu Miu, like a little tail, hurriedly ran after the cold figure, calling out, wifey, wait for me a bit, I'll go with you. He turned back to Tram. The situation was critical. He urgently urged Ngui Tat Hoi, quick call Mo Dung Lu Diem, I have a plan. Ngui Tat Hoi didn't believe it and shouted, what plan? Don't you dare sully my goddess. Tram helplessly explained, I have to save everyone. Ngui Tat Hoi stubbornly said, Mo Dung's sister has returned to Thien Kin Academy. Even if you call her, she can't get here in an instant to save people. How do you plan to save everyone? Tram curled his lips with a dangerous gleam in his eyes. I just unlocked the Tong Men skill. You say it's impossible. Tram really lost patience and shouted at Ngui Tat Hoi, stop talking nonsense, give me the phone. Ngui Tat Hoi reluctantly raised the phone. Take it, but I warn you not to sully the goddess. The scene switched to the Advanced Martial Academy Thien Kin, where Mo Dung Lu Diem was giving a lecture. The group of male students below seemed energized twice over, whispering excitedly that they finally got to see Mo Dung Lu Diem teach. No wonder she's the Academy's #1 beauty. If only I could touch her hand, I'd be satisfied. Someone else hurriedly whispered, Mo Dung Lu Diem may be a goddess, but the great Demon King is not self-proclaimed. Be careful not to get thrown into the nightmare dungeon. The other stubbornly argued, if I could really touch her hand even if thrown into the abyss dungeon, I'd be willing. Man Miu Miu angrily hugged a stack of papers and entered the office, slamming them down in front of Mo Dung Lu Diem. She asked in surprise, what's this? Man Miu Miu closed her eyes and sighed. They're all love letters. She asked in surprise, what is this? Man Miu Miu closed her eyes and sighed. They're all love letters. Mo Dung Lu Diem snapped irritably, waving her hand coldly as she threw out a stack. According to the old rules, I already informed the student council that those who write love letters will be assigned to the secret realm for alchemy training. If they don't score 100 points collecting materials, they can forget about coming back, every last one of them. They're really too idle. Don't they realize how critical the situation is right now? Man Miu Miu nodded in agreement. These male students definitely need discipline. Don't you know Miu Miu, she's your man, isn't she? Just then, Mo Dung Lu Diem's phone on the table started ringing. Man Miu Miu picked it up, saw an unknown number, and asked if anyone wanted to answer it. Mo Dung Lu Diem lazily replied, go ahead. It's probably the teacher. Man Miu Miu pressed the answer button and handed the phone over. As soon as Lu Diem took the phone, she saw Tram's serious face. Listen carefully, Mo Dung Lu Diem, he said. She was briefly surprised. Why was it Tram? Man Miu Miu looked at the guy on the screen with curiosity and asked, who is this? Tram didn't care. He looked straight into Mo Dung Lu Diem's eyes through the screen and clearly said, Mo Dung Lu Diem, I love you. Man Miu Miu and Mo Dung Lu Diem froze. The male students under the lecture hall also stood stunned like wooden statues. From the other side, Ngui Tat Hoi screamed madly, Tram, I think you've really lost your mind to say something like that. Tram ignored him and repeated through the phone, I love you. Mo Dung Lu Diem gritted her teeth at his stubbornness, her eyes both shocked and annoyed. Totram finally stopped saying the mission of saying I love you 100 times was complete. Amid the resentment of the young men at Thin Academy, one shouted, "Who is this punk? How dare he insult Senior Mo Dung like that in front of everyone?" Another chimed in, "We all secretly wrote love letters. This guy dares to confess openly. He's way too brave." Isn't he afraid of becoming the common enemy of the entire school? Sure enough, Totram became the target of attacks from the whole academy. Many hot-headed people just wanted to find him and beat him up. It'd be strange if Mo Dung Lujim actually cared about him, muttered a guy. Mon Miu Miu flared up and shouted, "Little Lujim, this guy is way too arrogant to say something like that. I've never seen anyone so shameless. I absolutely won't let him go. Let's push him into the Tam Nguyen dungeon." Mo Dung Lujim slammed the table, stood up, and coldly said, "Order. I'll step forward and declare to everyone, as you can see, his name is Totram." The crowd below buzzed Totram. Which class? Which academy? Someone else interrupted. "I know a few little rascals, but I've never heard of Totram." Suddenly, Mo Dung Lujim dropped a bombshell. "He is my boyfriend." Those words struck like lightning, freezing the male students in place. Mon Miu Miu panicked, covering her mouth, admitting her wife actually had a man. After saying the shocking words, Mo Dung Lujim calmly turned her back and walked away, thinking, "Totram, if you're not dead set on this, then let's play. I'll let you play enough. Using you as a shield, my future life will be much calmer." Meanwhile, the male students were still boiling, gossiping Totram. "I'll remember you. Don't let me run into you." One guy raised his voice. "Not everyone deserves to be Senior Mo Dung's man." Everyone thought Totram was just a nobody, not even worthy enough to be Mo Dung Lujim's man. A purple-haired guy, calling himself Lang Kung Tu, loudly declared, "Within 10 minutes, I want all information on Totram." The system inside Totram's head spoke evenly. "Congratulations, user. You have completed the achievement of saying, 'I love you,' 100 times. Congratulations, user has received a physical stat increase of 1 point. Congratulations, user has received 10,000 fire elements." Totram was startled, his face frozen as if he had been tricked. 10,000 fire elements. He pointed to the sky and cursed loudly. 10,000 fire elements. You planning to play with fire against me? Damn it, in this life-or-death moment. What good is fire? You planning to cook donkey meat for the Spider Queen? The system remained calm and continued. Especially 10,000 fire elements come with a special skill. A head kick with the AoE skill Demonic Donkey Kick, fiercely stomped. Totram imagined the fire elements kicking wildly. His face darkened like a burnt pot as he muttered, "What the hell is this?" Suddenly, 2 bald guys appeared from somewhere, blending into the panicked students, shouting, "What do we do now? At this rate, we're really going to die here." A skinny bald guy pulled a blue orb from his pocket and whispered, "I have an idea." The other looked at the orb in shock. "This is a forbidden item that attracts monsters' holy artifact." The skinny guy nodded, speaking quietly as if afraid of being overheard. "To prepare for emergencies, I brought quite a few of these." His teammate ruffled his hair and immediately caught on. "You mean to have these students block the monsters for us?" The skinny guy sneered cruelly. "That's right, now we can only sacrifice them to get a chance to escape." The other guy agreed immediately. "Just do it without hesitation." The bald guy threw the blue spirit-absorbing ball at the group of students. A foul green smoke rose over the crowd, who panicked and screamed, "What is this? This is bad, it's spirit-absorbing aura." Which bastard released this? Do they want us to die slowly? Not only the students, but the 2-star serrated monsters also smelled it and immediately went crazy, their eyes glowing red as they charged into battle mode. The students were clueless and panicked. The monsters dragged them in and became even more frenzied. Everyone was on their own, no place to hide anymore. Someone in despair said, "This is the fate of our generation." After the spatial nodes appeared, the serrated claws of the monsters swung wildly, scattering the students everywhere. In another corner, someone was attacked by baby spiders, screaming in pain. "Can someone just kill me quickly? I don't want to be eaten by these beasts." The Spider Queen stood aside, laughing gleefully. Yet someone actually added some spice to the meal, making the flavor even better. The 2 bald guys saw their chance and said, "Now's the time, run fast." They sneaked behind the Spider Queen, where a gate led to Latieu's place. Li Lang Tiu, witnessing his classmates fall, shouted angrily, "Damn it, now there are traitors appearing too!" He turned to Totram. "Aren't you supposed to save everyone? It's your turn to act." Totram, caught in this crossfire while lying down, just shook his head in frustration. Nguyen Hoi glared at his opponent with contempt, as if looking at a useless clown. He thought that besides spouting nonsense, the other guy wouldn't do anything but waste their precious time trying to escape. I Tram frowned deeply, my head aching because of these foolish people. He growled softly, "Come on, Tram, show me what to do." Tram decisively stepped toward the spider demoness. The thought flashed through his mind. He couldn't let wildfires mix into the chaotic crowd, or the whole group would be trampled to pieces by those fools before the monsters were eliminated. Ngui Tat Hoi saw his reckless move and immediately shouted, "To Tram, what are you trying to do? You want to die!" Li Lang Tiu stood not far away, secretly glancing and thinking, "This useless guy should just die. Let's buy time to find a way out." To Tram ignored the whispers, moving closer to his target, murmuring a spell quietly. "Li Lang Tiu is the great secret." Ngui Tat Hoi said, "You're a paper tiger. You two fools grant me strength." Suddenly, the baby spiders smelled humans and scrambled forward aggressively. Tram remained unshaken, raising his hand to the sky and shouting loudly, "Fire, come!" Ngui Tat Hoi rolled his eyes and yelled, "How long has it been? Stop messing around." But as soon as he finished, the sky suddenly lit up. A herd of fat donkeys fell from above, landing directly on the writhing baby spiders below. Ngui Tat Hoi's eyes widened in shock as he exclaimed, "What is this?" The people around were stunned, shouting in unison, "What's happening?" Suddenly, numerous donkeys fell down. Isn't this Muccino's deadly wound facing the monsters is already enough? But someone quickly noticed the oddity and shouted, "The donkeys aren't attacking us!" The spider demoness standing in her territory was also stunned, wondering why a strange group of beasts had invaded. Before she could think further, the giant herd of donkeys charged like an unstoppable storm. The demoness panicked, screaming, "This is bad! They're coming this way!" The lead donkey jumped and unleashed a powerful fire rock skill, hitting the spider demoness's head with its front hooves, instantly reducing her strength by 100 points. The rest of the donkeys, energized, charged simultaneously, turning the spider demoness into a doormat, trampling her mercilessly. The demoness, her face covered in hoofprints, lay flat on the ground, still not understanding why these monsters attacked her. She murmured, "Aren't they servants of the wild god?" The donkeys didn't stop. They continued using the advanced skill Demon Donkey Arrow, stomping the spider demoness repeatedly until she was bleeding and powerless to resist. Far away, the two bald guys, Ngui Tat Hoi and Li Lang Tiu, unaware of the horrific scene at Thandong Gate, laughed triumphantly. "The Demon La Tiu's item has finally fallen into our hands." The crowd hurriedly urged each other to leave. La Tiu must be anxiously waiting outside the teleportation array, so hurry out immediately. Suddenly, the space trembled violently, and a strange sound echoed, forcing everyone to turn around. Someone asked bewilderedly what that sound was, but before they could compose themselves, they were stunned to see tens of thousands of plump donkeys charging at lightning speed. The two ringleaders didn't have time to react. They were trampled fiercely by the herd and crushed to the ground. They lay there indignantly screaming, "What is going on? Where did all that fire come from?" The giant herd of donkeys, without hesitation, charged past the two ringleaders, heading straight toward the open ground leading to the teleportation array where those two intended to go. Outside, Lan Tiu's henchmen were anxiously going crazy. One of them muttered, wondering why those two still hadn't come out after such a long time. Based on their strength, they should have taken the item and escaped long ago. La Tiu clenched his teeth with a tense face, thinking he had prepared for a long time and paid a heavy price, and it would be unacceptable if they didn't get it. Before he could finish speaking, the teleportation array suddenly sent a signal. A henchman excitedly pointed and said, "La Tiu, the teleportation array lady seems to have someone coming out." La Tiu's eyes lit up excitedly. "Good, that's extremely important to me. In the future, having it will qualify me to enter the divine realm." But before he could see the precious item clearly, someone emerged from the teleportation array. It wasn't the two henchmen, but a herd of plump donkeys rampaging, sweeping him up in the chaotic whirlwind. Inside Thandongmon, the students were in an uproar, astonished by what had just happened. Someone shouted, "Oh my God, what just happened? So many monsters and they got trampled to death by those donkeys." Another student, full of doubt, asked, "The question is, how did those donkeys appear and why did they show up?" Li Loi scratched his head and pressed Triu Tulong. "Be honest, isn't To Tram's hidden profession a summoner?" Triu Tulong, equally confused, replied, "I don't know. I'm shocked again and again." Ngui Tat Hoi stood there with his mouth agape, muttering, "Could it be that To Tram summoned those donkeys? Could he really be a summoner? Impossible! Who would summon thousands of donkeys? This doesn't make any scientific sense." At this moment, To Tram calmly walked over to the two black-clad ringleaders, now crushed by the herd of donkeys. He picked up a box that had fallen from them and muttered softly, "What is this?" Curious, To Tram opened the box. Inside was an exquisitely crafted golden key emitting a brilliant light. Suddenly, the key flew out of the box, hovering toward To Tram as if wanting to merge into his body. To Tram looked up at the self-moving key, thinking silently, "It's automatically entering my body. It seems to be a key to unlock something." Li Jung Yan Jiao stepped toward the spider demoness who had just been trampled to pieces by the ferocious donkeys. She stood there, her eyes full of doubt. It's hard to believe how such a strong boss like the Spider Queen could be killed by tens of thousands of donkeys. Why does it feel so unreal? On the other side, an elite survivor of the incident, exhausted, still tried to lift his head through the thick smoke and weakly asked, "Can anyone tell me what's going on? Why are there so many donkeys? I want an explanation." The remaining students who had just escaped death all shouted in unison, "We're saved. I thought I was dead." Someone pondered aloud. Who exactly saved us? Was it the person named To Tram? Could it really be those donkeys he summoned with that incantation? Another student with bright eyes continued. "What was the incantation? I'll write it down so I can save myself next time." Someone nearby nodded. "I also need to remember it for the next dungeon run." Immediately, someone awkwardly repeated the incantation loudly. "Li Lang Tio is the great desert secret, and Ngui Tat Hoi is a paper tiger. These two idiots will give us power." Ngui Tat Hoi and Li Lang Tio stood nearby, overhearing this, so furious they felt like turning to stone. Ngui Tat Hoi clenched his teeth, thinking, "Damn it, To Tram definitely isn't someone without a profession. He's not as simple as he looks. He is a master." But Li Lang Tio still stubbornly shouted, "No way! Absolutely no way. Although we don't know where those donkeys came from, there's no way To Tram saved everyone. At the Second Academy, everyone knows he's a useless, incompetent person." Upon hearing this, Ngui Tat Hoi suddenly snapped awake and muttered, "To Tram is right." The whole group immediately jolted, realizing that although the Spider Queen had been defeated, the sawtooth monsters were still there, ready to attack. Someone shouted, "Everyone evacuate the secret realm immediately. Hurry, enter the teleportation formation. Finally, we can escape." Taking advantage of the chaos, Triolo quietly advanced, her cold gaze fixed on her old enemy to settle the score. She swung her arm, casting the brilliant Great Earth Mother technique, aiming straight at the fleeing ringleader ahead. That person turned out to be Thak Hao, the guy who once offended her. Thak Hao desperately fled, trying to escape Triolo's claws, but the sand she unleashed tightly wrapped around his legs, freezing him in place. Panicked, he screamed, "What is happening?" Before Thak Hao could recover, a sawtooth monster seized the opportunity to launch a fatal strike. Thak Hao only had time to shout, "I'm doomed! Help me!" Before blood splattered, his body collapsed onto the lunchbox spot. Triolo showed no mercy, pulling out the mysterious notebook and coldly writing, "Thak Hao, I told you I've marked you, and this is the price for me to remember you." Thak Hao lay motionless in a pool of blood behind him, the cold figure of Triolo a reminder not to mess with women. Triolo walked on, muttering, "Next only little Hua Hua remains." Meanwhile, To Tram suddenly felt a sharp pain in his head, a pounding headache hitting him again. He thought to himself, "This time I used the donkey herd to eliminate a large number of monsters, unexpectedly helping me star up." Trio Too Long worriedly rushed to his side. "To Tram, are you okay, despite exhaustion?" To Tram replied, "I'm fine. I just became a 3-star now." Lai Loi nearby widened his eyes in amazement. 3 stars? 3 stars. Damn! As long as you have a profession, even a weak one, your star-up speed will definitely become a legend in the secret realm. Outside, the situation remained tense. In the principal's office, Lai Thien Diep roared, putting pressure on the 5-star spatial mage staff. "How long will it take to get there?" And the staff member, sweating profusely, stammered, "The Alliance Star Tower branch said spatial mages are a rare profession, so there are very few practitioners. Most are currently in the dungeon. We have urgently sent one to us, but it will still take an hour to arrive." And Huai Chi snapped impatiently, "We can't wait any longer. Our students are dying by the second. We have to forcibly break the barrier." Huin Lam replied helplessly, "It's useless. With our standard 4-star strength, no matter how desperate we are, we can't break it." He held his head worriedly. "It's better if we approach gradually. My son Huang Kan is in there too. I'm even more worried than everyone else." And Huai Chi shouted, "Coward! What are you hesitating for? If you won't go, then we'll go ourselves." Just then a notification sound rang out. The leaderboard appeared, displaying first place was To Tram from the Second Academy with 388 points. Lee Duongyan from the First Academy was second with 186 points, along with the top 10 scores. Technician Mo H0835 AM plus 07 on Wednesday. July 16, 2025, rushed out pointing at the board with trembling fingers. The three academy heads must look at the scoreboard now, to Tram's score. But Hun Lam froze his eyes full of shock. How can that be? Over 1,000 points. Lithian Deep, trying to stay calm, couldn't hide his doubt. If the brain center isn't malfunctioning, who can give us a reasonable explanation for why? To Tram's score increased so much. This is truly abnormal. Hun Lam grew more agitated, shouting, "Not just abnormal, it's simply absurd." The first trial score is 1388 points, not only breaking the historical record of the three academies, but also surpassing the highest record of all high schools in the Empire. The strongest demon in the Empire High School in the past 300 years, Loi Than, only scored 980 points. But An Huai-Chi defended his student. Could it be possible that our second academy will produce a shocking demon rivaling Loi Than? The two of them simultaneously objected, "Impossible." Li Tianjiep frowned and questioned, "But there has to be a reason why To Tram scored so high, right?" And Huai-Chi awkwardly scratched his head and replied, "Well, he's an unqualified person." Hun Lam laughed scornfully. "Unqualified, huh? Don't make me laugh." And Huai-Chi, "How many do you have then? Do you think an unqualified person can compete with the Thunder God? Once every year there's a demon, and once every 100 years there's a Thunder God like him. This is tarnishing the reputation of the Thunder God." Just then, a technician hurried over and announced excitedly, "Good! Great news! The students have exited the teleportation array." The three principals were stunned and asked in unison, "Is that true or false?" "Say that again." "What?" The staff repeated enthusiastically, "It's completely true. I personally witnessed students being teleported out continuously." At that moment outside the teleportation array, To Tram strode out proudly with other students. The system announced, loudly causing a stir, "Everyone has been moved out of the secret realm and rewards are being calculated." Everyone was joyful, especially To Tram, who thought to himself, "After finishing this dungeon, there's even a reward waiting to be calculated. The more I look, the more it feels like a world integrated inside a game. But the more it goes on, the more interesting it becomes, making me eager to explore." To Tram's system continued to announce, "Based on your performance as the Imperial Flower Chi star in the Secret Realm, this adventure is rated S-Rank. You have earned 1 God-slaying point. Item obtained, Sleep Serum of the Spider Queen." The three principals rushed over and, seeing the surviving students, exclaimed in unison, "Oh, so many of you are still alive. That's great." Hun Lam muttered with lingering doubt, "But I wonder who turned the tide and saved everyone." Li Tianjiep stroked his chin confidently. "It has to be Li Zhongyan, no doubt about it. In terms of strength, she is the #1 prodigy of the three academies. Only she could create such a miracle." Hun Lam nodded and added, "It could also be Tiu Hua Hua. He's very unpredictable, the most impressive student at our third academy." And Huai-Chi wouldn't back down and immediately said it's also possible it was To Tram. After all, his points are that high. But the other two principals still firmly opposed, "No way. Impossible." Hun Lam snapped angrily at An Huai-Chi. "I advise you to come to your senses. Don't mention that unqualified guy's name again. If he saved everyone, I'll let him enter the Votong secret realm. It only opens once a year at our third academy," and Huai-Chi sighed, deeply disappointed. "This is the closest the second academy has been to the third academy, even though I know it is impossible." The three principals hurriedly surrounded Li Zhongyan. Li Tianjiep speaking first with hopeful expression. "Zhongyan, tell us how you saved everyone." Li Zhongyan looked slightly embarrassed but answered honestly, "It wasn't me who saved everyone." This left Li Tianjiep stunned. "Not you?" Meanwhile, Hun Lam quickly claimed the credit belonged to his student, enthusiastically slapping Tu Hua Hua on the back, making him jump as if his heart nearly flew out. "Well done, Tu Hua Hua. You did really well. Our third academy not only surpassed the second academy, but seems likely to surpass the first two." Tu Hua Hua scratched his head shyly and replied, "Director, I didn't really do anything." But Hun Lam still didn't believe him, urged him not to be modest. "Tell us, what great deeds did you do in the secret realm?" Tu Hua Hua touched his face, thought for a moment, then nonchalantly answered, "Great deeds. Does becoming an adopted son count? Truly an honest and straightforward boy, almost naive." Hun Lam stiffened after hearing that, his mouth agape like Li Tianjiep. who stammered earlier, adopted son. He lunged forward and slapped Tu Hua Hua. "How dare you joke with me like that?" Seeing the tension, Li Jungyan quickly stepped forward and clarified the truth. Three principals, it was To Tram who made the effort to save everyone. An Huai-Chi was stunned, his gaze fixed on To Tram, the main character of the conversation. To Tram, really you? He thought to himself, his palms suddenly sweating cold. Damn, why does this feeling feel so unreal? To Tram saved everyone, so why does it not feel real at all? At this moment, To Tram casually stepped forward with both hands in his pockets and said, "I want to ask, is there any reward for saving people?" Li Diep raised his hand authoritatively. "Moreover, such a great merit will be reported to the Star Tower Alliance." Only then did To Tram calmly accept the credit and say, "Then there's no problem, I saved everyone." And Huai-Chi, as if waking from a dream, felt everything become real. He burst out laughing with a resounding voice. "Finally, my Academy number 2 has received this godsend gift." Although that year Mo Dong Lu Diem topped the personal scores, the overall score of my Academy number 2 was still not as good as Academy number 1. Now, To Tram's total score alone has far surpassed the combined total of Academy number 1 and Academy number 3. This time, my Academy number 2 is number 1. Huin Lam's face turned red, pointing and shouting, "No way! He's just someone without a profession. There's absolutely no way he could do this. It's not that I underestimate To Tram. Don't talk about killing the boss. Even if I stood here to fight him, how could this useless guy possibly defeat me? No wonder he is a villain with a way with words. No one can match his provocation skills." To Tram immediately responded without hesitation through action. He stepped forward and threw a punch straight at Huin Lam's face. The students around witnessing this were all stunned, frozen in place. An Huai-Chi approached Huin Lam, who was now falling backward from the punch. Sneering, "Huin Lam, you said it yourself. Let me have the right to enter the Void Form secret realm." But Li Diep cut in with a serious face. "Everyone, step aside. In this matter, 1 star of the secret realm dungeon has been upgraded to 2 stars. Something unprecedented. The situation with over 10,000 donkeys summoned by classmate To Tram is very complicated. Everything will be decided by the Star Tower Alliance." After Li Diep's announcement, everyone quietly turned their backs and left. To Tram still had a question and spoke up. "May I ask one more thing? What is the Slayer score?" And Huai-Chi brightly and happily answered, "The Slayer score can only be achieved when your performance is flawless. Even those rated S rank only have a small chance to get it." Li Diep's sharp eyes looked at To Tram. "To Tram, could it be that you already received a Slayer score?" To Tram calmly replied, as if nothing, only 1 point so far. Li Diep's jaw nearly dropped in surprise. "Only 1 point? Do you know that many demons in college and university can't even get 1 point until graduation?" She looked at To Tram with a mix of admiration and disbelief, continuing, "To Tram, how did you perform in the secret realm?" "Actually, I'm not surprised at all. Every year, many demon students perform excellently in the secret realm like that. But you truly surprised me by earning the Slayer score. As far as I know, you are the first junior academy student to get the Slayer score." And Huai-Chi smiled brightly, patted To Tram's shoulder enthusiastically, and said, "That's really good. This time you're the top ranked in the freshman trial. Mo Dong Lu Diem, the eternal pride of Academy number 2, will help you acquire skills that don't require a profession and opportunity you must seize." To Tram briefly thought of that girl and silently thought Mo Dong Lu Diem probably doesn't even have 2 points now and might stab me. Li Duongnan stepped out from the crowd, passing by. To Tram, with a determined look, she stopped and said, "To Tram, this time you performed better than me. But the human tribe exam is our real stage. See you all at the testing ground in a month. I, Li Duongnan, am determined to win the highest top scholar prize." To Tram replied a bit sadly, "I advise you not to compare yourself to me, Li Duongnan." Frowning in doubt, he asked, "Do you look down on me?" To Tram shook his head, turned around and walked away coolly, saying coldly, "Because I'm a bot." Li Duongnan looked even more confused, muttering, "A bot? You mean your professional skills?" But To Tram disappeared without leaving even a shadow. The more mysterious he is, the more captivating he becomes.